Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Friday, June 17th Budget Information Session. And item number one, Business Technology Services. Mr. Burton, have anything for us today?
Nope, we'll just jump right in. So we got BTS, and so we'll turn it over to Chris and begin our discussions.
Good morning, Commissioners. We do have Jeff Roars, our Chief Information Officer, online today. He's remote, so he'll be coming on in just a moment. We have Brian Zumwalt, the Chief Technology Officer, and we have Dana Zorden, the Manager of Business Support. Here we have Yana Matiak. She is going to be starting us off. She is the Operating Budget Analyst for BTS. So she'll start, and then he'll pick up after. So take it away.
Good morning. Business Technology Services is the central information technology service provider to Pinellas County government. It provides a full suite technology services to all the BCC departments, constitutionals, constitutional officers, agencies, and the courts. Moving into the topics for discussion, the first bullet in your document is the negotiated reduction in the Oracle contract. Roughly $445,000. It includes Hyperion, X10, Exalytics, and the list of other licenses that the department negotiated with Oracle on. The most recent one, I believe, is about $260,000 decrease that is still in the works. The next one is one FTE is being proposed to move in FY22 to the Department of Admin Services Purchasing Division for the dedicated IT procurement function. This FTE will be housed with the Department of Admin Services. However, Business Technology Services will still be funding the FTE. FY22 transfers included Acela Civics platform refunds of seed funding and the Gateway fiber optic relocation closeout. There are no transfers planned for FY23, so you will see in your document the reduction of the transfers for the proposed budget. Moving into the capital improvement program, it is a 10-year rolling plan that started in fiscal year 14. Annual recurring funding that the department is getting is $2.1 million, and the department is managing roughly $25 million in assets. Most of the CAP spending is end of life, and this is set by the life cycle of equipment. Smaller piece of the CAP program for BTS is production growth based on prior years and based on the customer demand. The department tries to avoid peaks and valleys from the cash flow perspective and balance the plan. So sometimes, not always, sometimes you will see that they defer or move expenses into the from year to year or put funds away towards future years. The next two bullet points, telephone lines and the strategic planning update, I will defer probably to Brian to speak onto those. But telephone lines, you will see for FY23 proposed budget decrease in $1.5 million in expenses. And the shift is happening here from replacing the core system to focus more on the peripherals. But I'll let Brian speak a little bit more on that.
So Commissioners, Brian Zumwalt, Chief Technology Officer. One of the things that BTS accomplished this year is also a refresh of our strategic plan. Is that what we're on, strategic planning?
Telephone lines and
Telephone
strategic
lines.
plan.
So let me start with strategic plan. We did do a refresh of our 3-year strategic plan, and we presented that to the BTS board this year. It includes all of our strategies that will take us at least over the next 3-year time horizon for IT. And we publish that internally. I can obviously provide a copy to the BCC board members that have not received it. We do not publish it externally because we actually also have cybersecurity strategies in there that we don't want publicly available. The telephone line conversation, we are in the middle of an assessment right now of our telephone system and what our future state is for the telephone system. We believe that we're going to be in a hybrid mode with that system where a lot of our existing investments that we've made we're going to be able to leverage even into the future and just do upgrades and things like that within the existing system. But we're also going to enhance that with certain functionalities like call centers and interactive voice recording and new technologies that will help us out in the future. So the bottom line is we don't think we're going to have huge capital needs for the telephone system, but we're not doing a major refresh or overhaul of the system. It's going to be more as needed to kind of augment what we currently have. Having said that, we do have about 5,000 plus just telephone handsets, for instance, that are out of date right now that we do need to do something with in the future. So that will come out of our capital fund and spending over the next couple of years. Yana, what else did you? Okay.
So unless you have questions, we'll move into the FY23 decision packages. In your document, they are listed in the order of priority. I will start with the first one, and then the security decision packages, I'll let Brian again handle those. The first one is the Oracle ERP Modernization Release 3. It is a one-time funding, overall close to $2 million, with $1.2 million coming from BTS and $771,000 coming from Clerk. The proposal is to repurpose some of the saved funding from the here is Jeff, negotiated Oracle agreement, not all of the funding, but some of it. It is the release 3 of the Oracle, of the ERP solution that was implemented in 2010, subsequently released in December 2021, and will be in September 2022. It is required to meet your prior commitment and county admin's commitment for that. So, and Brian, do you have anything to add on this one?
Well, Jeff being here, Jeff, did you want anything on the Oracle decision package?
No, thank you. Sorry I couldn't be there in person. Yeah, this is really the third and what we expect to be the final year of the modernization effort for our Oracle system, which is the core system financially for the county, but also core for many other areas, human resources and purchasing, capital projects, other areas. But this is the third and final year where we've agreed with the stakeholders on a roadmap to modernize the current system. And then post-modernization, we would leverage the system for a number of years until we're ready to decide when to make that next shift in platforms.
This really gets us up to speed, commissioners. They didn't do an upgrade on Oracle for about 10 years or more, 15,
Correct, 10 years.
And so they really, we had to upgrade just to get us in a position to where we could go to other applications, if we choose to do that. And so it was a pretty easy decision. Plus, we don't have an HR system in place currently. So some of the data points that we need, HR can't produce unless they do it by hand right now. And so this upgrade was very important to get us, to set us up for more open decisions in the future. If we were to switch to, let's just say instead of Oracle, we want to go to whatever, we would need to do this upgrade just to get us in a position to be able to make that technology switch. And so that's what really where it brings us to.
So the next one is,
Commissioner Long.
So I'm kind of sitting here thinking about, the last 10 years or so, and I'm very curious about, is it because of us? Is it because of administration? Is it because of you and your department, Jeff? I mean, it's a little disturbing in some ways to learn that our current everything is so, I'm only going to use the word antiquated because I don't have another word to substitute, that we're in this position now of having to spend so much just to upgrade the system so we can take advantage of all the new and latest and greatest. Am I understanding that correctly, Jeff?
Yes. I mean, to your first question, we installed the Oracle system that became outdated in around the 2010-2011 timeframe, and we maintained it from a security perspective, but we never really did any upgrades or versioning upgrades for roughly 10 years. I'm happy to report that last year we did upgrade to the latest and greatest version of the software. So we are on the modern platform today. And this project that you see represented in this decision package is really the third year of this project, where we've been we not only installed the new version of software, but we're looking to implement fixes that the business needs to make better efficiencies. The county administrator mentioned, human resources not having the correct data and parts for human resources. So this is all about putting some investment into the system to, not only be on a new platform, but to modernize the software and our processes to use these features. And the other point there that the administrator made was we needed to do this because we were basically on 2009 business kind of processes, and to jump from that to the modern platforms that are available today would be really a change management issue and a training and educational. So this was our ability to do this now, get ourselves more modern, and then put us in a great position for what's next.
So
Hope that answered your
If I
question.
may, Mr. Chair? So do you have, given I'm sure the rest of my colleagues are in the same position with the different boards that they sit on, and I'm wondering, I can think of one in particular, do you have people that are monitoring or paying attention to the new technologies that keep evolving? I'll never forget this one presentation we had at the Regional Planning Council, where we had a cyber kind of guy come from McDill and talk to us about how quickly technology is changing the way we all operate. And it makes me wonder, listening to Barry talk about how HR had no capability at all to do the things that we need them to do. Do we have other departments that are in the same boat?
They didn't have it wasn't that they didn't have any capability. They didn't have the most modern, platform. And all of their business processes weren't automated. And so this really enhances that. And especially over like in clerk finance. And so I worked closely with this with Ken Burke in terms of kind of mapping out. And Jeff did a really good job trying to kind of do a roadmap of where we're at today and where we're going to be in the future. And so this isn't the only area that we're looking at. We're looking at a lot of different areas. This becomes kind of the first priority. And you can only do so much change management at one time until you get pushback from your staff. And so we are looking much more broadly than just this, but all of our technologies and where we want to go and how to consolidate those down. That's one of I think the major challenges for BTS is really to help us and help all of our partners. If we were a business, we'd have 28 different companies, in here, and when one company goes to a conference and they want this type of technology, well, they've got to support it, and so we have a lot of applications out there that his job is to try to get rid of so many different applications, and try to find the things that work for everyone, and keep it on as few common platforms as possible. And so they're really working on that and trying to be forward-looking and create a roadmap to get us there. But it's a lot of work, and so they're working very well with everyone. I think this is the right thing to do. This is that first step, and this became the highest priority.
So have we ever thought about taking, just for kicks and giggles, because the idea popped in my head, all the different boards that the county commission sits on as a whole, and bring them all together in some kind of a think tank or a summit to just share best practices on the issues we're talking about here today as it relates to BTS? Do we have anything like that goes on? Do you
Sure.
know?
The closest that we've gotten to something like that is through our strategic planning process, where we go out and we meet with all the constitutional offices to understand what their pain points are, where they want to go with their business, and then we obviously react to that in our technology strategic plan. With respect to all the boards that you guys sit on, I don't think that we've done anything like that, but certainly within the constitutional structure, we do that on about every 3 years or so.
I mean, if you think about all the different government agencies that impact Pinellas County, it's pretty ginormous. And even when you look at the 24 municipalities that we have in our little teeny county, it's like mind-boggling.
The other thing that we do pretty often is we meet with our counterparts around the state and other local governments to understand what their
good.
trends are and what they're doing. We're a member of an organization called Florida FLGISA, which is the Florida Governmental Information Systems Association. And so we have a lot of counterparts where we're always bouncing ideas off of and making sure that we're in line with, where everybody else is going. We don't want to be the outlier, certainly, on a lot of these types of decisions.
Well, that's very comforting, so thank you for
And
sharing.
in addition to your governance structure, BTS, you also have a staff structure that they meet and look and talk about new and innovative ideas about where to go. So there's a lot of work that's going on into this forward-looking plan. And the strategic plan that Jeff and his team has led is just, it's what we needed to do, and we didn't have that in place. And so they're looking at that, they're reaching out to others to get new and innovative ideas. And so, I think we're on the right path.
Good.
Can
Good to
can you
hear.
just give like a nuts and bolts example of you mentioned business processes that they were struggling with, and I'm not going knee deep in all this stuff, but just a real life, everyday example of what that means
I'll
for
let-
us non-tech folks to understand.
I'll let Brian talk about that, but he's got, 175 different applications out there, or,
Yeah,
some number that's,
We have a very large application portfolio in general, but with respect to the ERP system, we identified, I think, somewhere a couple hundred different business pain points within all the different stakeholder groups of Oracle. So whether it was HR or clerk finance or, purchasing, go ahead, Jeff, you want to expand on that?
Yeah, I was just going to give you just a more practical example. Brian was correct. We had 350, a little bit more. It's kind of grown pain points, but one of them, to use as an example, would be when folks apply to positions in the county today. They apply in one system, and then if they're actually selected for employment, they have to be moved over into this system, and then that's all re-keyed by our employees today. There's no connection there. There's no connection between the advertisement and the position that exists in our system. So there's a tremendous amount of staff work that's put into rekeying all that data, rekeying all the data that was captured in the system that they applied in, but never gets over into our HR system. That's one of the examples I would use of where we're fixing that. So that data will come over automatically once the candidate is selected. So that's kind of what you would expect when we talk about a business process improvement, and usually leads to an efficiency where the employees of the county have to do less because they can be more efficient. That work?
No, that's a good example. And I really hadn't planned to go into any of this today, but since we're here.
I kind of started, sorry.
I was, and I'm blanking on who I was talking to in another government capacity, but they've gone to more of a one vendor, and I forget the names. You know the names of the different that provide umbrella.
Yeah.
I mean, we've evaluated something more along those lines and how that applies to us. Correct?
We are moving definitely to more of a platform model for the county, where instead of having hundreds of applications that we support, we're trying to get these, whether it's Oracle or you guys have seen the Acela,
Can you ask him to
CityWorks.
turn his mic
Just
on?
speak a little closer to the
Oh,
microphone.
I'm sorry. Yeah, we're definitely trying to consolidate down to a handful of platforms that we need to support from an application perspective. That's part of our application roadmap modernization project right now. Gone are the days, in my opinion, where we have to have specific types of technologies and developers and, technical skills to support many, many, many applications all over the place. We are trying to get to the point where we're being efficient with our support staff. We're consolidating things into common platforms. Oracle is a great example of a system where it provides a whole lot of functionality. It might not be best in breed, where you've got, the best of everything out there, but you're going to get core functionality that integrates well across different departments within that system. And so we do want to try to support that model because it is, from a technology support standpoint, it's certainly the easiest model to support. Once you get into where everybody wants their own system and it's got, it's, very vertical, you're going to have a much larger support operation that needs to support something like that.
All right.
So.
Jeff, did you have, I couldn't tell if you wanted to say something.
No, sir.
Okay. All right. I don't know where we left off, but carry on.
Still the page one.
Still on
the
page one.
decision. Yes, on the decision packages. And the next two ones are security related, so I will still let Jeff speak to those.
Yes, thank you. The next two decision packages that we're bringing forward this year deal directly with cybersecurity, and without getting too in the weeds around cybersecurity, these are both looking to enhance our access management, specifically around vendors and third parties, which has been identified recently in audits as a major area of opportunity for improvement, and then also around our email protection, which, as many of you know, emails continues to be the #1 way that folks are getting breached. And actually, the industry average is around 92% of breaches start with an email attack. So we want to continue to enhance our email protections. Both of these decision packages are really enhancing platforms we already have today to better respond to the cybersecurity landscape. I'm happy to go deeper, but I wanted to keep it kind of high level from a cybersecurity perspective.
Questions on this? All right.
So the next one is the Microsoft Office 365 backup, and that is on page 2. Recurring annual cost of $70,000. And this decision package is to enhance the level protection mediation methods to secure backups of Microsoft Office 365 data. And the last one is the Oracle Enterprise Management Platform. All the details, again, are on page 2 for that decision package, but it is non-recurring cost of roughly $300,000, recurring $45,800, and that one is to maintain the license starting FY24 for the total decision package of $354,800. Again, the software will improve overall management of the Oracle systems and environments, and all the details, again, are on page 2. And as a wrap up, the total decision package cost for BTS is $2.7 million. Recurring cost out of that is $267,000, and non-recurring $2.4 million. Any
What does it
questions?
mean when you say Office 365 is not currently backed up? What does that mean?
Jeff, go ahead.
It is. We've been partnered with Microsoft for a number of years now, and we've been using their built-in data recovery, capabilities. And we've had a few instances where those have fallen short, and they don't keep our data as long as we keep our own data with our on-premise services and applications that we house ourselves. So we were basically, caught short a few times, and this decision package really would allow us to do our own backups of our data in the Office 365 platform, and then maintain that data for a longer period of time. I do like to differentiate between backup and legal hold or public record retention. Those are two different areas in the IT systems. All of our data is available and kept from a data retention and public records perspective. This is more of a being able to back up and restore on demand. So I do like to clarify that these are different technologies.
That's good clarification. Questions on this? Yeah, Don was about ready to. Questions on this? All right.
Okay, moving on to, we're on page 3, budget summary. Excluding transfers and reserves, the FY23 budget for BTS is increasing 0.8%, or $433,000 over the FY22 budget. Personnel services are increasing by a little over $1 million, or 4.8%, and this is consistent with inflationary increases. Effective FY23, and being consistent with the board and county administrators' approval and directive, 2 tax collector office FTEs will be reinstated back within the BTS department, but they will be they will be providing enterprise services to the TCO, just to clarify that. Operating expenditures are increasing 1.7 million, or 6.7% over FY22 budget. The increase is partially attributed to the increase in risk and full cost allocation plans. Communications department reported a little over $3,000 working hours for a website development project, and that was in FY21 versus 73 hours in FY20. The rest of the operating increase is listed in your document, and the items are on page 3 as well. Capital outlay, as mentioned before, is decreasing 2.3 million, or 39.7%, largely due to the phone end-of-life equipment purchases. That's 1.5 million, and a decrease for the allocation for future years and network growth in the CIP program. Just to reiterate, CIP program is a cyclical in nature for BTS. It is based on the life cycle of equipment and projected customer demand for the production growth. And as a wrap-up, BTS is fully supported by the intergovernmental allocations from the BCC departments and non-BCC departments, and as well as the custom IT services to various constitutionals. The charges for services do increase in FY23 by $2.7 million. Mainly, it is attributed to a major Opus upgrade, as you can see, of $1.3 million, right sizing after a 3-year contract renewal for Microsoft Office 365, and a few other items, and the enterprise asset management and CityWorks. And with that, I'll pass on to Brian or Jeff for the performance metrics.
I didn't prepare anything on the performance measures. The measures we use in BTS today are measures that were agreed upon at the BTS board through a subcommittee that was formed to develop performance measures for the department in my position and my performance. And the measures we've provided in the packet are those. We measure customer service, employee satisfaction and retention. We measure our compliance with our service level agreements, and also we measure our project performance around projects completed on time, and also projects completed within budget. And then we also, measure ourselves on our actual budget. So it's a very comprehensive dashboard of measures that the BTS board reviews every quarter.
Commissioners, we're on page 7 and 8 of the document.
Questions? What's the percentage of your budget we're talking about administrator versus constitutionals? I did not see, and if you don't have that today, you can get it to me. I just curious, 30%, 70%, or if you have it down to the for how it breaks out.
Those details are in our cost allocation plan. I think that would probably be the best document to go to, Jeff. I don't know if you agree.
Yeah, we'll provide a follow-up on that for sure. But yeah, it's probably going to be pulled out of our cost allocation plan.
Okay. And then what's the staffing? And I guess it would vary from constitutional to constitutional, of internal IT or support staff that they have internally versus the support services that are provided through your department.
So that's an interesting one. We You know, we do have contractual services that we pay for, you know, I'll give an example. If we have like a cloud-hosted system, that might be something that we rely on vendor support for, you know, versus internal support. Like other departments that I'm sure you're talking to in the budget presentations, recruitment and retention is a challenge right now for IT services. We generally have somewhere around, you know, 20, I think right now we have like 20 open positions that are not actually open. We're actually, because we can't fill those positions, we're actually going out and doing staff augmentation in order to acquire the skills that we need to support the operation. And so it varies depending on what time of the year and what our, you know, what our overall staffing looks like. But our recruitment and retention's actually been pretty good given the landscape that's occurring right now. But there are some hard to find skills out there where we've had to go and, you know, rather than, because we can't find that FTE to fill, we'll go out and take those dollars and turn around and get a contractor essentially to support the system.
Commissioner Long has a question.
So that point, Brian, leaves me to wonder, do you have, for example, with your 20 open positions, and then I heard you follow up by saying some of them have specific skill set requirements that is
Right.
very difficult to find.
Right.
So do we have any possibility, just thinking outside the box, of maybe getting a young person in who has an really inquisitive, you know, mindset about cybersecurity and about all things technology related, and maybe training them specifically on those type of skills that you're talking about?
Absolutely, and yeah, I mean,
You
we routinely do that, you know, with some of those harder to fill positions. You know, some of the specialized skills like cybersecurity, even some of our applications that are specialized like CityWorks and Acela, trying to find those support people locally within the Tampa Bay region is tough. And so sometimes we'll go out to the contract model, sometimes we'll try to grow our own internally. The challenge, of course, after that is once we start growing them and their skills and they become marketable outside the county, and then, you know, it is a double-edged sword because a lot of times they'll get job offers from the private sector and leave us once they get to that certain type
Well,
of.
here's an idea. Why don't you treat it like the military does? And when you bring these young people in,
Yeah.
your pitch is, we'll train you,
Yeah.
but in that regard, then sign this contract that you won't leave for 5 years or whatever you think that worth is. Why can't you do something like that?
I think if there are actual dollar investments that we make, we could probably do something like that. But if it's just internal staff training, I don't, we'd have to talk about what that looks like.
I think
because-
it's worth a conversation.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know. I mean,
I don't
when
disagree.
you have people coming and going and the market is so competitive like it is right now, you have to be creative about finding ways to capture these people,
But-
you know, for enough time to make it worth your while.
But I do think that BTS is really moving towards a kind of an outsourced model, like putting Oracle out on being cloud-based versus building our own systems and managing that. And then, in essence, you're doing that by contract. Because I think companies can attract IT people. You know, a young person coming in really in the IT world, I don't think they value FRS as much as a lot of other people, you know? They're not looking at retirement, okay? They, you know, I've got a friend, he said that they're trying to go to like quarterly bonuses because they don't want to wait 6 months. And otherwise they leave. And, you know, so I think they are looking at the model that works to be able to sustain the systems that we have. And it's going to be a balance. You can't outsource everything. And so, but I think they're looking at those, and I think they've done a good job with that and probably need to do more.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I agree.
Commissioner Flowers.
I had this conversation with Jeff. He and I were talking, and I was sharing with him, a lot of people don't know that for Pinellas Technical College, if you have a specific need, you sit and work with the Office for Workforce Innovation, and they will tailor based on what you say your need is and open up that opportunity for persons to then come through and be trained in that. And we all know that when you look at college costs versus technical trades, it's much cheaper that way. So I did share that. Jeff and I had a conversation about ways to to kind of get people, groom them and allow them that creativity. He was very receptive of considering it. So I appreciate that. But, you know, again, they have what they call short courses where you may have an employee who you already have, but maybe giving them this additional knowledge puts them on another level. So they will provide those, as well as specific platforms, which technology is now the big brouhaha for the CTAE programs and the additional funding that came from the state to provide for the training for those programs. So Jeff was real receptive to considering that. But that was a good point, Commissioner Long.
Thank you.
If I can, thank you for mentioning that. I was looking for an opportunity to insert it, but you know, it is important when we have, as we, in this competitive landscape, we look for feeder programs. And so that obviously Pinellas Technical College is an opportunity for one of those feeders to get us, you know, that grow your own, but it's coming in with a base. So very interested in those types of feeder programs as well.
All right. Anything else?
No, sir.
All right. Brian, before you leave, you got to just lean right into the microphone and say, press star 9.
Press star 9,
There you
please,
go.
if you'd like to make a public comment. Thank you. I enjoyed it.
Well, we miss you, but not really.
Thank you. It's good to see you all.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Rose, what's next?
So the Office of Asset Management is up next. We have Director Jeffrey Waugh coming to the table, and we have Abigail coming in right behind me. Good, there we go. So we're going to follow the same format. We will be starting with the OMB Operating Budget Analyst to my right, and Mr. Waugh will take over after she is done.
Good morning.
Good morning, and thank you for letting us be here. I'm Abigail. I am a relatively new analyst with the with the Office of Asset Management. So I'm very thankful to have Jeremy here to support me. And this is a relatively small department from a budget perspective, but it's a very important department in that it impacts almost all the other departments within the county. So I want to go over the department purpose. It's short and it's been rewritten recently. So the Office of Asset Management implements industry best management standards to extend the life and optimize the performance of county-owned physical assets. So you can see how their work is going to impact the entire county. In the topics for discussion, so this year, the Office of Asset Management has successfully completed their countywide energy use and state of the assets reports, and they've established data baselines that support the development of initial countywide performance measures. And this allows us to gauge the maturity of enterprise asset management efforts in supporting those departments. So we have our first year of data, the FY21 actuals. These reflect only Public Works and the utility departments only. And so when we get into our FY24 budget development and our in the following year, we'll be able to see the onboarding, the city work implementation that occurred during FY22. That will be included in the FY23 budget, and so we'll be talking about that next year. So from a budget summary perspective, like I said, this is a relatively small budget. Their budget in FY23 has increased by $35,860. That's a 4.8% increase, but that is all primarily in personal services. $30,690 is the personal services portion of that. That's due to inflationary increases in salaries, an increase in the health insurance rate, and as well as increases associated with the career path and ladder initiatives. Travel and per diem budgets have increased by $9,800. This is primarily because COVID-19 restrictions have been lifted and we've been able to travel more to trainings and conferences. And then the capital outlay budget decreased, and this is based on the BTS computer replacement cycle. So last year, several employees replaced their computers. This year, we don't have any computer replacements at OAM. Just as a reminder, the FY21 expenditures will be distributed as intergovernmental charges in the FY23 budget, and then the revenues or the cost recoveries for OAM, the services that they provide, these are not reflected in revenues within the department. Those are revenues that are collected directly into the general fund. We also provided a budget summary by program. There's only one program at OAM, the OAM Asset Management Program. So some of the FY22 accomplishments, we mentioned earlier that the Office of Asset Management has facilitated and completed the implementations of City Works project for Pinellas County, and those will be reflected in the following year's performance measures. Also, we've developed and implemented a comprehensive training program that accounts for organizational competency, analysis, skills, matrices, and business readiness. They also began the Duke Energy Clean Energy Connection subscription. And then, as we mentioned earlier, they completed an annual countywide energy use report and state of the assets report for the county. So there's 3 work plan items. To perform an asset management program maturity assessment that'll occur in FY23. We're going to deploy countywide asset business risk exposure framework in FY23. And then we're also going to be establishing a framework for energy, water, and fuel consumption as assets in FY23. So if you have any questions for either myself or Mr. Waugh.
Morning, Jeremy Waugh. I want to just highlight some of the things that Abigail mentioned is we did complete the City Works project. That was a 63-month project. We were glad to say that we have moved past the project stage and into the programmatic stage. And that did touch on or encompass 5 of our major departments of Public Works, DAS, Solid Waste, all the parks departments and utilities. About 1,100 staff are now using that, I won't say daily, but at least several times weekly. So it was a large enterprise project. I also want to highlight the county's leadership, your leadership, and the connection to the Duke Energy Clean Energy Connection Program. As of last Friday, there was a ribbon cutting in the Crystal River plant. We are now online. We are now subscribed. We are actively using solar power to subsidize, if that's the right word, offset, I should say, county natural gas, not coal, natural gas-fired plant. So we are now using the subscription. We are active. We are live. That full subscription, 10 solar plants at Duke Energy, will be live by 2024. So we will have an offset of 27,000 kilowatts is the Pinellas County subscription, which represents 40% of our governmental electricity. So that's a kudos to you guys for your leadership in subscribing to that. It represents about $11 million over 30 years savings to the county. So it's dollars that we get back that we would normally have spent on energy that we are going to get back into our departments. I also would like to talk about the State of the Assets report and our State of the Energy report. And what that means, if you look at the performance measures, we're starting to baseline where we're at in our asset inventory, where we're at as a program. And the second line there where we say that our inventory county assets with a condition score, right now, as of the March data we are 89% of our assets that we have condition scores are either good or very good condition. So we're using this data to really assess where we're at. Are we going to hit a cliff at some point? Some of our neighboring agencies are in, where like their water systems are all failing continually. We're finding that we're not at that cliff quite yet. One day we may get there. Our goal is to never reach the cliff. We're going to fix it before they get to that point. So those are some things I just want to highlight. I'm open to answer any questions you may have.
Questions? So the implementation, so you said Public Works and Solid Waste are fully?
Public Works and Utilities, well, all 5 departments are fully on board. They're all currently active in the program. We only reported out Public Works and Utilities because they were live in 2020, if I have my date right. So the newer departments that have only been live for 6 months, we didn't want to, it didn't seem fair to capture their data. They haven't been in the system for a full year to really get their data in. They will be next year. They're actively pursuing those activities that you've heard from those departments. They're all talking about the activities they're doing around asset management.
So now we're seeing that, I mean, we're all on there, so now we can start to see those savings that we've talked about as far as being able to catch things before they get to that point of deteriation where it's really expensive.
Before it breaks. you know? And really what, I mean, Jeremy's a data guru, and really helping departments learn how to use data to manage better. That's their job, you know, and so that's, now they're able to have the time, before they were implementing, now they can get out and actually work with them. And so, you know, they're actually now being able to see the fruits of their labor, you know, be fulfilled, and, you know, they're all over it. So it's really
Yeah,
good.
it was, I mean, when we made the decision several years ago to come down this path, it was a little foggy at the beginning, but the promise was that once we were loaded, we were going to really be able to, you know, see the benefits of it.
And, you know, we saw that in roads. We've looked at, you know, roads. We should be fixing roads before we have to completely redo it. We should be repaving rather than reconstructing. It's the same thing with all the assets, many of which you can't see. You know, and so you know, it's a very good program. Jeremy's done a great job with it. I mean,
So would we, starting next year in our typical process, start to see maybe shifts of, you know, we had budgeted, you know, XYZ project for 2024, but really we need to do this, so we're going to shift it. I mean, are we going to start to see that kind of actual?
Yeah, so we've built, last year we went through a strategic planning process where we realigned our goals from 5 years ago into, okay, where are we at today and what do we want to pursue? And two of those goals to highlight are, you'll see in a work plan for next year, building this, what we call the business risk exposure framework. So we can understand what is our riskiest stuff, right? What's the biggest impact, not only dollars, but also customer service-wise or level of service-wise to roads, et cetera. And another work plan that's in 2024, we're going to be working with our OMB partners in the CIP project planning process so that we can build risk exposure, life expectancy, asset failure type concepts into when you build a capital project. You should be reducing those risks in a calculated way, right? So that's not just conceptually, yeah, we're going to get better. It's, we can show a $2 million reduction in risk by doing this project versus a $1 million reduction in risk by doing something else. So we're getting there.
Excellent. Further questions? Do you have anything else? Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, Abigail. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Mr. Rose.
We have our Parks Department up next, so Director Kazi is coming to the table. He's bringing Spencer Curtis, North, let me get it right, North Operations Manager. Close? Close, okay. And we have Charlie Jenkins from my office coming to the table. Here he is. So again, following the same format, our operating budget analyst is going to go through the purpose statement, the topics of discussion, the budget summary, and then he will turn it over to our Parks and Conservation Services Department for accomplishments, performance measures, and work plan. So Charlie, the floor is yours.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for allowing me to present to you this morning. We're going to start with the department purpose. It's brief, so I'll just read it in full. The Parks and Conservation Resources Department maintains and protects the county's parks, preserves, beaches, recreation, and cultural resources through access, education, and stewardship that enhances the quality of life for community, visitors, and future generations. As for the topics of discussion, we're going to start with the level of service decision package, which is year 3. Parks began the hiring process for the new approved staff in October 21 and January 22. The hiring of the new park rangers was to allow for full coverage when the parks are open. This has been achieved in the North District as of January 2022. The South District parks have improved coverage, and they are 15% away from achieving full coverage as of January 2022. The Wheaton Island Preserve had no assigned staff to complete daily maintenance activities, so they heavily relied on Sawgrass Lake Park for maintenance, resource protection, and rules enforcement. In FY21, 2 park rangers were added to staff Wheaton Island and are now tracking the number and type of enforcement and public contact actions. As of the second quarter of FY22, the park rangers recorded 278 enforcement public contact actions. Since January 2022, Parks is tracking data in the following ways. Park rangers are now able to, park rangers are submitting incident reports and conduct inspections. The number of ordinance violations tracked on PCR SharePoint. Also, we're using CityWork to track trade actions such as plumbing, debris removal, yard maintenance, boardwalk and boat ramp repair, and things of that nature. PCR has expanded CityWorks to track key activities such as general landscape and trail maintenance, location, frequency, and volume of chemical applications, number of restroom deep cleans, and maintenance spraying. Now, the total budget impact for the level of service year 3 is $465,600. That breaks down into $338,000 for personal services, which includes 2 park rangers to provide customer service enforcement and maintenance capacity at Wheaton Island Preserve, 2 park rangers to improve maintenance response time and provide flexibility in covering PTO at Fort DeSoto Park. I do want to point out here that via the implementation of the pay-by-plate and the license plate recognition software, which is anticipated in the 4th quarter of calendar year 22, that will eliminate the need for these 2 positions. So that will reduce the total FTE request from 7 to 5. And that would also reduce the budget impact by $92,000. And then last but not least, there are 2 craft workers and 1 electrician position to the trades group, and that will reverse the ratio of predictive maintenance work hours to corrective maintenance work hours as it currently exists. There's $39,000 in operating expenses for uniforms, training, vehicle operation and maintenance, and then there's $89,000 in capital outlay for radios, utility carts, and vehicles. And also, I just want to point out too that, again, with the elimination of those 2 positions at Fort DeSoto, the total budget impact for year 3 will be reduced to $372,000 instead of the $465,000. Also want to remind the board that this decision package was a result of the NOVAC level of service study that was completed in FY22 and resulted in the FY22 level of service decision packages for years 1 and 2. And this is year 3 impact. Also for CityWorks implementation, outside of the level of service, one major benefit of that implementation is that it prolongs the life of department assets, so it's more frequent inspections, required maintenance tasks, et cetera. Also want to remind the board that this was also a result of the NOVAC level of service study that was completed in FY22. The department is transitioning from full service to non-full service, and they are absorbing this responsibility, so there are no FTE increases because of this. As for cash handling elimination via the conversion of parking machines to credit and debit card usage, this eliminates a department inefficiency, which is staff hours spent handling cash. This has been the case for the past 6 months at the boat ramps and beach access points, and to date, no issues have been reported with the elimination of cash. Regarding alternatives to cash, we have considered debit, check, AMSCOT, and prepaid cash card. And Commissioner Flowers, I know earlier this week you mentioned using Cash App and Zelle. We didn't consider that at the time, but I just wanted to add that as something that we will consider too, just in case that comes up. Also, there is a plan in place for community outreach to inform customers of the timeline of when cash will no longer be accepted. We're also working with marketing and communications to launch a communications plan during the month of July, and it's going to include press releases, social media, promotional cards at Fort DeSoto entry booth, park signage, and the variable message board. For the mobile parking application implementation at Fort DeSoto Park, that also includes Fred Howard, Sand Key, and the boat ramp parking lots, and will also include expansion of self-service options, which include annual parking passes. Cash is still being accepted right now at Fort DeSoto entry booth, but as I stated earlier, there are no issues anticipated once cash is no longer an option. For the volunteer program, we're in the process of revamping that. It's a new orientation for volunteers to ensure that assigned tasks are benefiting the facilities. As for user-fee changes, they are listed in the topics of discussion, but I would like to cover those after the budget summary. And now we move on to the decision packages, which are at the bottom of page 3. We covered the parking level of service enhancement for FY '23. And also, again, it was derived from the level of service study that was presented to the board on May 19th, 2021. Just to reiterate, the budget impact for FY '23 is $465,000, but it's been adjusted downwards with the elimination of those 2 positions at Fort DeSoto to $372,000. The second decision package, I'm sorry.
Hang on one second, we have a question.
Sorry.
Commissioner Gerard?
It says here that it's non-recurring, but it's actually recurring, right?
Well, there are certain pieces of, because it's personal services, operating, and capital, so certain pieces are recurring and certain aren't, so we just listed it as non-recurring. Yeah, but technically FY '24 is the last year, because it was a
Personnel's
4-year.
recurring.
Yeah.
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 No, you're right.
Okay, and for the Wheaton Island Educational Center staffing, this decision package is to upgrade 2 of the current part-time staff to full-time. Currently, Wheaton Island has 3 part-time staff running the facility since calendar year 2011. Because of this, Wheaton Island staff is limited in responding to inquiries from the public, media, and handling maintenance issues and addressing other time-sensitive matters. This decision package will allow Wheaton Island to achieve staffing parity with its sister center, Brooker Creek Reserve. The budget impact for FY '23 is $78,000, and it is a recurring annual cost. All right, so moving on to the budget summary, that is on page 4. It's also supplemented by fund tables at bottom of page 4 and the top of page 5, and the program tables on page 5 and page 6. Right, so the general fund is the primary funding source for the department, and it's decreasing by $437,380, or 1.9% over the FY '22 budget. And that's primarily due to the reallocation of 4 real estate management, landscape, and mowing contracts to the Department of Administrative Services, which will be managed internally. The removal of 2 non-recurring FY '22 decision packages for license plate recognition software and parking meter upgrades, and the reduction to PCR's faculty contract contribution due to the University of Florida absorbing a position that was originally split funded. Of the other changes that are listed in the document, I wanted to point out the removal of funding for an FY '22 carry forward amendment for scheduled vehicle purchases that were not received in FY '21. We were informed earlier this week from the government sales rep of the Southeastern US Ford dealers that vehicles ordered in FY '22, and some even from FY '21, could be delayed, and some vehicles ordered in FY '22 did not get built. So if PCR is affected, this will result in more carryovers from FY '22 into FY '23. Okay, awesome. General fund revenues are increasing by $466,390, or 6.5% over the FY '22 budget, and that's primarily driven by increases in kayak rentals at Wheaton Island, campground site rentals at Fort DeSoto, parking for boat ramp usage, and beach access parking at Fort DeSoto and Howard Park. Other increases include concessionaire services for park patrons, an interlocal revenue sharing agreement for a county-owned parking lot maintained by the city, and fines for parking violations. Right. So moving on to the Tree Bank Fund, which is used to address land maintenance issues such as the removal of exotic invasive plants. That budget is decreasing by $2,000, or 2.9% over the FY '22 budget, and that's due to the alignment of salaries and wages with historical spending. Tree Bank Fund revenues are increasing by $76,240, or 134.3% over the FY '22 budget, and that's due to an increase in fines for trees that are not replaced and or replanted after removal. Regarding the fund forecast, the Tree Bank Fund reserves are healthy and anticipated to increase year over year for the next 6 years. It's fully operable until FY '28 based off of the current rate of spending. No additional funding has been built in, so it's totally based off of assumptions only. And we are discussing on how to best utilize growing reserves by possibly partially funding an eligible position or adding additional contracts. All right. Regarding the department's FTE changes, which is on the table, included in the table on the bottom of page 4, For FY23, FTEs are decreasing by 4.1 or 2.1% over FY22, and that's due to the reallocation of one full-time horticulture and field inspector position to the Department of Administrative Services. This position will manage the real estate contracts that we also moved to DAS. And this also includes the recalculation of part-time lifeguard positions, since they are only active during swimming season, which is 7 months of the fiscal year and not the full 12. And also, as of today, there are only 2 vacancies in parks, 2 full-time vacancies, and then there's 13 lifeguard vacancies, so. Yes. Awesome. And then we are going to circle back to user fees, which are on the bottom of page 2. Overall, the anticipated revenue impact of new user fees and user fee increases are $4,800 and $133,000 respectively. The most impactful new user fee is the park road closure fee, partial road closures basically. It's a new fee to highlight partial road closures, which equates to anything less than a full road closure. The new user fee is $1,500 per closure and has a projected net revenue impact of $4,500 annually. The most impactful fee increase is for beach access parks, parking meters. This user fee increase from a flat fee to a ranged fee by $1 or 40% per hour, and this aligns with city pricing primarily at Madeira Beach. The rate changes comes at the request of the cities that have a parking agreement with PCR, so it's up to $350, but we're not all charging $350 each.
They want them to be aligned.
Yeah.
So ours isn't cheaper than theirs.
Okay. So that concludes my portion of this presentation, but I would like to hand it over to Paul Kazi, who is PCR's director, and he will discuss the FY22 accomplishments, the performance measures, and work plan highlights.
Good morning, Commissioners. Paul Kazi, Parks and Conservation Resources Director. Starting with our FY22 accomplishments, has been mentioned previously by Jeremy Waugh. Our department fully implemented CityWorks in October of 2021. We have over 200 unique users in CityWorks. That includes not only our field staff, but managers and some of our long-term volunteers as well. As this year, we'll continue to map various assets within the department and also implement maintenance activities through the work management system that's aligned with CityWorks. We had over 100 county and municipal landscape maintenance staff trained in the Integrated Vegetation Management Program this year, as well as our staff is continuing to move away from the use of glyphosate and triclopyr, specifically in those areas that come in contact with people's pets, as well as children. We will continue to use triclopyr and glyphosate as part of our resource management activities because it is the most effective and the most cost efficient when you're dealing with thousands of acres that have to be treated. But we are moving to ammonium nonanoate, which is a soap salt. It's a contact herbicide, unlike glyphosate and triclopyr, which are systemic herbicides. We also developed an injured and nuisance wildlife procedure to better align ourselves with our partner organizations such as Birds and Helping Hands, Friends of the Pelicans, and the St. Pete Audubon Society. The Curator in Residency program was initiated in February of this year at the Gulf Beaches Historical Museum Cottage. In the few short months that our resident curator has been on site, he has inventoried over 800 individual items at the Gulf Beaches Historical Museum, many of which had been mislabeled or had duplicate records. Mr. Vars in the future will be continue to migrating those records into a content management system, and then we'll move on to assisting the museum volunteers with refreshing their content and museum displays. Although we aren't specifically handling these projects, they're being done through Public Works Parks Engineering. High Point Community Park is now at 60% in the design phase. Final design is expected this fall. And Rainieri Park is currently at 90% design. So we are going to be soon getting recreation facilities into those underserved neighborhoods. I do want to mention High Point Community Park. We are collaborating, it's a three-way collaboration. School board, of course, has provided the land adjacent to High Point Elementary School, and we are working with the city of Largo to take on the operations and maintenance of the facility when it's completed.
And it could have been a complete federal, county, city, school board, could have been a state too
If we had a couple more partners, and we'll continue to try. The Whedon Island Management Plan update was accepted by the State Acquisition and Restoration Council last week without correction. These updates are required every 10 years and includes a detailed stakeholder and public comment process. Commissioner Justice, thank you very much for serving on that committee. And in May, the board approved the staff recommended process to allow for certain business connections to the Pinellas Trail to enhance opportunities not only for trail users, but also for businesses that are adjacent to the trail.
Commissioners, on the High Point Community Park, so even though it was vetoed by the governor, they did set aside $175 million at the state. It's a competitive-based application process. We're going to be submitting for the funding. That'll be one of the projects that we'll be submitting for. Yeah. You know, I'm sure everybody and their brother that is going to apply for those funds, so they'll be competitive, but we want to put our application forward. We had 3 projects that we had advanced that were vetoed, and so we can advance those projects, either us or communities, like, for instance, the land group up north. I forget the, Klosterman, yeah.
West Klosterman
So
Preserve.
we haven't decided, you know, whether they do it or we do it or, you know, however. But anyway, this will be one of the projects we would like to submit for.
And I would also add for both of those projects, we will be applying for any available grants. I know the Florida Recreation Development Assistance Program grant opens up in August. We'll be submitting an application for that project. We will also submit again for a Land and Water Conservation Fund grant for Rainieri Park. As far as performance measures, you know, I've got several of them listed. It's not all of our performance measures, but the parks and preserve acres per 1,000 residents, that's something we've always tracked, originally as part of the comprehensive plan. The comprehensive plan calls out for 14 acres of parks and preserves per 1,000 residents. Currently, the county, and this is only including our parks and preserves, we're at about 21 acres per 1,000 residents. Value of volunteer hours, you'll see a dip, of course, that a lot of that is a result of COVID. As mentioned by Charlie earlier, we are revamping our volunteer program. Our volunteer coordinator has been reorienting volunteers, and our goal is to make sure that the volunteers we have are actually working in the same direction that our staff is, so that they're not spending more time supervising volunteers than actually performing their own tasks. The average cost of service per visitor, you know, this last year we were 99 cents. We're looking at $1.08 per visit. That's based on our attendance figures and our overall budget. Our attendance continues to increase throughout the park system. It's kind of one of those positive results of COVID, not positive, depending on if you're Pinellas Trail users, because we are seeing a significant amount of participation on the Pinellas Trail, but we are expecting attendance to increase over the years. Our average call answer, FY20, 203 seconds. That was really associated with the implementation of a new campground reservation system. A lot of people were calling, but our goal is 60 seconds, and we've been below that this year. Overall customer satisfaction rate is based on surveys. We send out surveys for every function, every citizen-assisted function, whether that's a reservation, special event, those types of activities. I think it's came up a little earlier about the preventive and predictive maintenance work as opposed to corrective maintenance work. Right now, we are at about 5.7 hours of preventive work, predictive work, which would include inspections and things like that, to corrective work. Now, what's not shown here, and that's the thing that came up in the level of service study, is we want to get something closer to that with our actual trades positions. Those are the folks who are having to do a lot of the corrective work. So in the overall scheme of things, when you include the work that the park maintenance or the park rangers do, it elevates our corrective or elevates our predictive, preventative work as opposed to corrective. But we are trying to get where our trades folks are doing more preventative work, PMs, those types of things, rather than corrective maintenance. We have a couple other new performance measures for FY23, one being the % service levels met. That includes all of the varying maintenance tasks that our park staff completes on a daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly basis, as well as our park ranger shift coverage. One of our goals, of course, with the Novak Raftellus study was that we would have folks in parks while the parks are open, at least one person. So right now, overall, we're at 85%. The decision package would bring us to 100% overall because it would fill out the unstaffed hours at Whedon Island and Ridgecrest Park. So those are the performance measures. Any questions on those, or I'll go ahead into the work plan highlights. Of course, the biggest thing is going to be this year the implementation of the pay-by-plate as well as the license plate recognition. Pay-by-plate is going to allow us to move some staff that currently are working the front entry booth at Fort DeSoto Park. Once and for all, finally, the intent is we will no longer have traffic backups at the entry booth. People will be able to pay through their phone. And we will also be able to do our annual and semi-annual passes that way too.
So is it pay by plate or is it like a Park Mobile app?
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, we will be using two apps. One is the Flowbird app. That's our machines now are produced through or manufactured through Calais. Flowbird is their Park Mobile app. And then we will, of course, have Park Mobile, which St. Petersburg, Tampa, a lot of the cities are using. Differences, there's a differentiation in the service fee between the two, but we're working on that with our contract negotiations.
Yeah, I was just curious why well, it brings up the question of why we would need two vendors for that versus just Park Mobile, which is more, I mean, I've never heard of the other one. The other one, like you said, is in St. Pete, Clearwater, Tampa.
Yeah. And that's why we want to have both of them. You know, the Flowbird app was one of those things available to us through an existing contract negotiation, so that's why. And we can also implement it immediately.
So it's just the terminology. When you said pay-by-play, I was thinking like T-BARTA or Thea pay-by-play, where
No,
it was,
right.
you know, a picture.
It's enter your
Right,
license
gotcha.
plate into that, unlike, you know, like maybe downtown Tampa, where you have a specific lot or assigned place, it'll be like that. You've got a park or a beach park or a boat ramp, that type of thing.
Okay.
After a brief hiatus, the B City USA group is continuing to take applications. We are having our draft resolution approved now. Once we have that okay from B City USA, we will be taking it to the commission for approval. And then if our overall application is successful, we will be the first county in Florida to be a B county. We have 3 B campuses in Florida right now. It's UCF, Jacksonville, and University of North Florida. And right now, there's only one city, the small city of Webster, as a B City USA. So this will be the largest government in Florida that's a B county. Brian Loack and I continue to make headway with the unincorporated Seminole Youth Sports Groups. We are currently working with them on their bylaws and charter information, but fortunately, they have all agreed to work together, which was a major milestone to overcome, and I want to thank Brian especially for his assistance in making that possible. County Extension continues to work towards the implementation of our first community garden in partnership with the Lealman community as well as Eagle Lake Park. We did apply for a $25,000 AARP grant for our first community garden at Eagle Lake Park. Unfortunately, that wasn't chosen for funding, but we will continue to pursue opportunities there.
Commissioner Seal.
How is that going to work? Is it put out that people apply for a permit to plant gardens, or how?
Yeah, you know.
'Cause I know they've done it in Safety Harbor at the, I think it's the Folly Park.
Right, and Extension has put together a guidebook, but you're right, it's kind of like you reserve a plot. It's one of the things that's first and foremost that you need to have, excuse me, is your volunteer leader, your sponsor. We have someone who's already stepped forward at Eagle Lake Park, and of course, Extension is working with Chris in Lealman about a community garden there. So, but yeah, it's unfortunately it's first come, first serve. And there is a fee. I'm not sure what the exact fee is to reserve that plot, but yes, that is how it works.
And so is Eagle Lake open at this point?
No, Eagle Lake, we were going to use the $25,000 grant for that, but so we're going to have to develop that on our own with funds we have available. So it will probably start a little smaller than first intended and grow as we see what the demand is. The department's currently finalizing career paths and career ladders for all classified positions. We currently have career paths and career ladders for park rangers, which represents 50% of all of our full-time department staff. All of our classified positions within the department will have career paths by the end of September and career ladders by the end of December. We continue to solicit additional stakeholder feedback and incorporate board workshop comments on the draft Pinewood Cultural Park Master Plan. And we are also collaborating, of course, with the city of Dunedin to create the FCT-required management plan, as well as fulfill our share of commitments to the development of the Gladys Douglas Preserve.
Commissioner Seal.
Fiscal year 31?
No, I'm sorry, did I say 31?
No, it's on. our-
It's on the document, it's
on the
31.
document.
Oh, no, that's just a typo.
Is it fiscal year 22,
That
23?
is-
23? Okay,
Right.
thanks. It was like going,
These are long-term plans, Commissioner.
I know we have several years to submit the year and have an approved management plan, but yes, we, actually, there was a meeting this morning at 10 o'clock with my staff and the City of Dunedin staff and the DEP staff on the management plan.
Further questions? I know it's a nitpicky, can you go back to the parking lot thing again? These are the beach parking lots that we operate? Is that my understanding?
Right, and just to clarify, right, that is one beach park, Madeira Beach is the one beach park that we operate that's not in partnership with one of our municipal partners. And that goes back to even when we were talking about the fee increase to $350. Many years ago, it was requested by the city of Madeira that our beach park in Madeira not undercut the city's parking fees, because of course that doesn't do us a favor either, because then anyone who doesn't want to pay what the city is charging on their street meters are going to go to the beach park and park there. So we allow that, keeps everything equal, and then it also allows the other cities, Indian Rocks Beach, Reddington Shores, Indian Shores, to be able to, if they want to raise their fee as part of their budget, we're prepared to do that because it's in our fee schedule, which allows Barry to approve their request if they want to raise their hourly rate by a quarter or whatever.
It's an up to amount.
Right.
The way it's structured.
Sounds a little whatever to me, but okay. Further questions? All right. Anything else? Thank you, sir. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jenkins. Oh, you're staying here. All right. You're not done yet.
Yes.
All right, Mr. Rose, introduce.
Sure. So, yes, Charlie's going to stay right here next to me. And Animal Services is up next. Director Doug Brightwell, whom you've seen recently, is coming back to the microphone. We're going to give it to Charlie first and then back over to Doug for the second half. So, Charlie, you're up.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks again for allowing me to present to you. We're going to start with the department purpose. Pinellas County Animal Services is the largest open admission shelter for dogs and cats in Pinellas County that is responsible for ensuring animal-related health, welfare, and safety for the citizens and animals of Pinellas County. We also included a full list of services within the department purpose because we felt it is just as important to highlight those services when mentioning or when stating the primary function of the department. For topics of discussion, we're going to start with the shifts in operations due to COVID-19. The weekly rabies vaccination clinic is now a mobile drive-up clinic. While entirely a mobile drive-up clinic during the pandemic, we've adopted a hybrid model when experiencing inclement weather. Customers are serviced curbside for check-in and waiting, and then they only enter the building when pets receive their shots. So that's a little shift there too. The animal control officers only pick up sick or injured cats in the field. Citizens are now responsible for bringing in healthy cats for participation in the Return to Field program. And the community education team provides assistance and pet owner education in the field to keep pets in homes and out of the shelter. Animal Services is also transitioning from full service to non-full service. And they actually gained one full-time position from the Department of Administrative Services to aid in this transition. Internal changes are still ongoing, but we are headed in the right direction. As for user-free changes, I do want to touch on these after the budget summary. And as for decision packages, there are no decision packages submitted for FY23. All right, so we're going to start with the budget summary, which is on the bottom of page 2, and is supplemented by fund tables at the bottom of page 3, and the program tables on page 4. The general fund is the primary funding source for the department, and it is increasing by $209,520, or 3.6% over the FY22 budget. The overall budget increase is primarily driven by salaries and wages, and it also includes the addition of one full-time position from the Department of Administrative Services. Yes, and it also includes the realignment of one full-time position from the Gifts for Animal Welfare Trust Fund. Of the operating expenses decreases, the most notable is the decrease in veterinary services operations due to a vacant veterinary position. This position has been vacant for 4 months due to the gap in salary and benefits between the department and the current market. This also is an issue in neighboring jurisdictions. A solution to filling this veterinary position is currently underway. In the interim, we have relief doctors to fill service gaps during the week, and we have third-party contractors who have been hired to perform weekend surgeries to supplement the existing veterinary position. And they're both being funded by vacancy savings of the vacant veterinary position. General fund revenues are increasing by $19,000 or 0.6% over the FY22 budget, and that is to align with historical revenues pre and post COVID-19 pandemic. The Gifts for Animal Welfare Trust Fund was established for the receipt of gifts, grants, and awards of money from either public or private donors for the exclusive use, welfare, and benefit of domestic animals within Pinellas County.
So Charlie,
Yes.
you've gone over to page 3 now, right?
Let me double check. Yes.
Yes,
Yeah, okay,
top of page
so
3.
Back in the last part of what you were just talking about, did I hear you say that you cannot fill the veterinary position because our salary structure is not adequate?
Yes, and I want to,
Well, hello,
yeah.
can we address that a little bit?
Yes,
Let
sure. I
Doug
wanna-
take a answer that.
We, along with 7 other counties in the state right now, are experiencing difficulty filling our vacant positions. Sorry about that. I'm on now. We are experiencing the same difficulty as 7 other county shelters in the state with finding available shelter veterinarians because of our salary structure compared to the private sector. We actually have a meeting scheduled next week to look at possible solutions for that. In the meantime, we have hired a contract vet during the week who just finished with us this week. And as Charlie said, we've got a third-party company going to do some weekend surgeries to keep our workload caught up until we do find a permanent veterinarian.
Well, I don't know what the solution for that is, but it sounds like,
We're looking at the market forces on it right now and going to be discussing solutions next week.
I can't wait for your budget presentation, Barry, because those market forces must be impacting everyone at every level, I would think.
It is, and especially when you get into specialty areas. So for instance, you know, the sheriff, all of a sudden, boom, he can't keep nurses out of his jail. So he had to address that. But, you know, it's not like you could kind of see this coming. You can and you can't. You're busy running an operation, then all of a sudden this workforce issue hits, and you got to react to it, and it takes a little time. So this is an area where it's a very specialized area. He's got to work with HR. You know, we can address it, but it, you know, That's what he's working through.
We're-
And we're having that in several areas.
And it's just, there's a shortage of veterinarians anyway, and there's a specific shortage of veterinarians who can and wish to work in shelters, because that is not an environment that a lot of veterinarians choose to work in. And so finding that subgroup of veterinarians is a much, much smaller group to pull from than the regular veterinarians.
Well, I have an idea. What's the possibility of working with, doesn't St. Pete College have a veterinary program? Can we work with them?
They have a veterinary technician program, and they rotate through with us already. And we do externships for veterinary students from a great number of local or United States veterinary schools and some overseas veterinary schools. And they come in, and we even have some local veterinarians who want additional surgery experience, because a private practice doesn't necessarily provide that. So we're filling gaps intermediately with that, but it's not a permanent solution.
All right, thank you.
All right. So we're at the top of page 3. We're going to touch on the Animal Welfare Trust Fund. Excluding reserves, the trust fund budget is decreasing by $83,290, or 40% over the FY22 budget, and is primarily driven by the realignment of one full-time position from the general fund and reducing that full-time position to part-time due to the decreased availability of cats for pet stores. Grants and aids and operating expenses decreases are due to historical spending and the ineligibility of the Florida Animal Friend Grant for FY23 respectively. Trust fund revenues are decreasing by $2,650, or 3.8% over the FY22 budget, and aligns with historical contributions pre and post COVID-19 pandemic. Regarding the trust fund forecast, it is being managed appropriately and is fully operable until FY27 based on the current rate of spending. There's no additional funding built in, and it's based on assumptions only. In FY28, the fund is projected to surpass its minimum threshold of $300,000. So if or when this happens, all voucher and grant programs will stop, and the remaining funds will be used for the shelter animals. For department FTE changes, that's the middle of page 3. That's included in the expenditure table on page 3. For FY23, the FTE increased by 0.5 or 0.9% over FY22, and that's due to the addition of one full-time position from the Department of Administrative Services and the reduction of one full-time position to part-time in the trust fund. And as of today, there are 3 vacancies within the department. And for user fee changes, we're going to circle back. That's on the bottom of page 1. The overall anticipated revenue impact of new user fees is $4,710. And for user fee increases, it's $193 per service. The most impactful new fee is the landlord property surrender fee. And that's a new fee that's charged to landlord or property managers per animal at time of pickup, and that will be to assist with eviction labor costs. This new user fee is $75, and the projected net revenue impact is $3,750 annually. As for the most impactful fee increases, they both involve veterinary services. It's for emergency and extensive. The emergency veterinary service is $90. That increased by $90 or 56%. And that's due to an increase in medical costs. The extensive veterinary service user fee increased by $40 or 36%, and that's also due to increase in medical costs. At this time, I want to hand it over to Doug, who will discuss the FY22 accomplishments, performance measures, and work plan highlights.
Thank you, Charlie. And Commissioner Long, just for clarification, we still have one full-time veterinarian on staff. We have 2 positions and only one of them is vacant. So we do have one veterinarian on staff. To cover just a few of our accomplishments for the year, we received a $10,000 grant, or actually more of a donation, to the trust fund from Maddie's Fund and the Michelson Foundation this year for being one of 2 agencies awarded the best overall effort to, because our policies and procedures and our programs are open and inclusive to all members of all communities for both adopters, volunteers, and staff. And we were very privileged to be selected as one of those two agencies because it was a pretty impressive list of departments around the country that enrolled in that program. And it was the Open Arms Challenge. So we were greatly surprised and humbled by that award. Our officers last year responded to about 13,000 field visits to address issues with animal welfare and safety. That number is a bit lower than years past because last year is when the state law went into effect where we can no longer accept anonymous complaints regarding animal ordinance violations. And a lot of people do not want to give us their name and information to go on record about filing complaints about animals because of fears with retaliation. So we have seen a decrease in number of calls because of that policy. We implemented the Return to Field program 2 years ago now. This past year was the first year where the program is run in conjunction with Friends of Strays post-grant funding, where they are funding the program themselves and working with us to reduce our cat intake for feral cats, return them to field, and reduce our euthanasia numbers at the shelter. And it's running very successfully in that second year as well. Did want to note that pre-COVID or post-COVID, our animal population is starting to increase back to pre-COVID levels. But what we're seeing is our planning, our new programs, and our educational team are proving to be very effective in managing this increased population to still keep our animal numbers low, keep our length of stay shorter, and to keep our euthanasia rate lower and our live release rate higher. So the programs we implemented during the COVID period have greatly benefited us as the numbers are now starting to increase. On the next page, page 5, we've got a list of some of our performance measures. As you can see, we're still striving to stay above 80% on our customer satisfaction rate. And that does prove difficult sometimes being an enforcement agency, but we try to always provide good customer service regardless of the purpose for the visit. Our volunteer hours did decrease this past year with the COVID closure and restriction, but now that animal populations are increasing and our our hours are back to normal, we'll see the volunteer hours start climbing back up toward normal levels again. We're holding steady with our dog reunification rate, which is the number of dogs coming in as stray and being returned to their families at 45%. Our cat reunification rate has increased from 3% to 6% last year. The national average for cat return to owner rates is about 2.5%. So we're well above the national average on that. And one of the reasons we do that is we have cat licensing here and we microchip everything that doesn't move. And microchips are imperative to getting cats back home. Our licensing numbers have increased from last year. We took a dip in the active licenses we had in the county during COVID because veterinarians were not open and providing the service. Now that rabies vaccinations are available, our licensing numbers are going back up. Our live release rate increased by 5% this past year, which is a significant increase in the live release rate. And a large portion of that was the RTF initiative with the cats. And also the side benefit of that was the number of programs we can use to work with dogs that are marginal behaviorally, that we can get them ready for adoption. Number of field calls, as I said, it dropped during COVID and with the change in the law. So we're running at about 12,000 right now. And the number of surgeries dropped this past year by about 300 surgeries a year. And that is again due to the number of animal population being lower than previous years. Our work plan highlight, we had one work plan item that was at the county level, and that was on our pet store ordinances, which we just finished up a couple of weeks ago. And that was, we'll be developing new work plan items for the county level now that we've completed that one. Any questions?
And at this time, we are accepting any questions.
Questions? I think we wore you out last week. All right. Thank you, Doug. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Charlie. All right. Emergency management. Mr. Rose.
So we have emergency management coming to the table. A couple of things. Cecilia McCorkle is the operating budget analyst for them. Director Perkins could not be here with us today, and just fun fact, she and I shared a cubicle wall back in 1998 at Miami-Dade County, so we've known each other a long, long time. So, but in her stead, Joe Borries is here and Betsy Farley, so thank you for being good partners with OMB. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Cecilia.
Good morning again. I am Cecilia McCorkle. I am the current budget analyst for emergency management. As you see, Joe and Betsy are here to help me out a little bit today because I am also relatively new to this department. But I'll start off with the department purpose. Pinellas County Emergency Management is responsible for the planning and coordination of resources and dissemination of information to promote the readiness, response, and recovery measures of community partners and the community for all hazards. Moving on to the topics of discussion, you heard from Joe last week. He gave a great update on a lot of these items, so I'm not going to do him a disservice by trying to restate them. So I'm going to pass over the first two, which are related to the evacuation zones and the shelter demand that he discussed in detail last week, and move on to the third bullet related to the $50,000 for training. I just wanted to talk briefly about that. That $50,000 for training has been included in the FY23 budget. This is actually a reinstatement of funding that was in the budget back in FY19, but the trainings were basically lapsed over the past couple of years due to COVID. So the department is making this an initiative for FY23 to get back out, working with the community partners, and having these training and exercises conducted on a face-to-face basis, but currently I believe you're doing it hybrid, some face-to-face and some virtual. The next bullet, there's $30,000 in the budget for FY23 for printing hurricane guides and with newspapers and educations. This was something else Joe discussed last week. I just wanted to let you know there is a continuation of that funding for FY23 to continue with that initiative. And then the final bullet is $50,000 that was received as a grant this fiscal year by the department to procure and distribute weather radios for at-risk populations. You'll see this on Tuesday as part of a budget resolution coming to you for the general government, the general fund. So this $50,000 will actually be appropriated to the 22 budget pending your approval. Moving on to page 2, which is the budget summary. As you can see, emergency management brings in about $367,000 in revenue to the general fund. The largest portion of this is grants related. They're very active in pursuing grant opportunities. So for 23, we're expecting at this point about close to $350,000 in grants to be received. They also do receive some funding related to the review of the comprehensive emergency management plans for external agencies. We usually hang around about $19,000 on that per year. Moving down just a little bit to the expenditure budget, you can see the budget is increasing overall just about $64,000, which is very good for a department that's heavily personnel. The majority of the increases are in personnel for a total of $157,000 basically. This is related to reclassifications of some positions, career ladders, and the 3% that we add to the midpoint for each of the positions for planning the pay adjustment for the next fiscal year. There was also an increase of a half position, half FTE, and this is to create, take a part-time, make it a full-time employee. And the department decided to do this to help them move along with some of their goals is for creating comprehensive plans for hazardous materials, search and rescue, and also developing trainings related to those particular items. A lot of this increase was absorbed because the department has reduced down their operating budget. So as you can see, overall, they're only increasing by about 3.4% for 23. If there's no questions about that, I'll hand it over to Joe to talk about the accomplishments.
Thank you, Cecilia. Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you for having us. With me today is Betsy Farley, our Admin Finance and Program Lead. For our accomplishments, some of our highlights are, we did increase our operational tactical plans for community response and recovery. And together with the training that I spoke about last time we met, those two things combined help maintain our operational readiness. We've updated our evacuation zones, as we mentioned, and communicated those changes to the community, including updating all our risk analysis and our public information applications. We held the Hurricane Season Preparedness Day at the Lemon Exchange with our community partners. And besides the $50,000 grant that we got for the weather radios, we also received a $58,000 grant from Duke Energy, which we contributed to the Lemon Exchange for the development of a commercial kitchen there so that we could also use that when we do emergency sheltering at the Lemon Exchange. We're very excited about that, as is the Lemon Exchange. We produced and distributed the 2022 hurricane guides to the public, as mentioned, and the 35,000 to the middle school students. And just to touch on that, that 30,000 that Cecilia mentioned, it's just carrying them forward. It's just, it was a few more dollars. We went from a commercial printer to this program with the Tampa Bay Times, newspapers, and education. So those funds are just carrying over for that cost. We developed and distributed the COVID-19 After Action Report. It's still available online at pinellescounty.org/emergency, COVID-19 After Action Report. And we've developed all our career paths and ladders for all our staff, except for the 3 of us in senior leadership. Our performance measures, some due to COVID, were a little bit on hold, but others, we did increase some of our sheltering capacity. So through some of the work that we're doing and some of the capital improvements that are actually coming up as well too. We are seeing a little more education and outreach now that we can get back out and doing some in-person activities. We're seeing some more participation in that as well too. And then we have some new measures that we're monitoring for the years forward. Some of our work plan highlights for the coming fiscal year, we'll be expanding our medical and special needs shelter equipment capabilities. We'll be improving our critical warning notifications to our at-risk populations. The weather radios are part of that. Developing and implementing operational tactical plans to achieve our comprehensive emergency management plan objectives by the fiscal year 24. We'll be implementing a residential tracking and routing system into our special needs evacuation program that we use with our fire department personnel to help evacuate our special needs residents during evacuation orders. As mentioned previously, implemented a new Ready Pinellas mobile app, and we're integrating that notification capability into our warning and notification system. And then we're continuing to increase our pod runner capabilities for communications. As I mentioned, communications is very important. So we continue to work on that and make sure that we're ready in a catastrophic event that we lose some of your typical communications capabilities. And that's all I have, unless you have any questions for us.
Questions?
Well, we appreciate your support as always.
Appreciate all that you do.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioners.
All right, Mr. Rose, what's next?
So the Department of Administrative Services is up next. I am the budget analyst for DAS, and Joe Lauro is going to be joining us at the table over there. So without further ado, I'm going to jump in with the first half, cover the budget, and then I'm going to kick it over to Joe for accomplishments and performance. So as you can see at the top of page 1 of, and I'm going to say DAS budget because it's just a little easier and faster to say, but at the top of page 1 you see the purpose statement. It speaks to how many services that DAS serves and how many different customers they have as they go forward. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but you can see it there. And like other internal service departments, like budget, like DAS, they don't necessarily provide the service, but they make it able to be provided in those departments out there. So I'm going to jump to topics of discussion, and the first bullet there is 9 different reasons why the department's budget is increasing in this year, and many of them you know about already. So the very first one is lease payments going up due to the sheriff's hangar for the aircraft at the airport. That's changing to a lease payment, and that will be increasing their budget. And in full disclosure, this is only the first, how many months? Was it 7? 7 months. So you're going to see the full annualization of it in the following year. So this is a partial increase going forward.
Commissioner Long has a quick question.
Yeah, well, that was pretty presumptuous. I don't know how quick it's going to be, because what is the status of the hangar? Are we ever going to get a new hangar?
Commissioner, I could actually answer that. We're in the process of negotiating right now with Sheltair. There's been a lot of issues at that property. There's fuel intrusion that we're working through. There's been
What
permitting.
intrusion?
Fuel.
Oh, fuel.
Fuel, yeah. Apparently there was a tank there, an old tank that has leaked over time. We're working through some permitting issues, but hopefully, we're really hoping to have something before you in the next 3, 4, 5 months, depending how long it takes to finalize the negotiations on the lease.
What does that mean?
Well, there's about a 20-page document we have to work through that has a lot of Ts and Cs and a lot of requirements from the lease perspective. Also, the shelter has to finish or at least engage into the actual design process. Even if we have a lease agreement, there's still going to be some time frame yet to design the actual structure itself. But the actual structure is pretty simplistic. I mean, it's a hangar. You know, we're not building a Taj Mahal. So we hope to have some construction at least started within a year. That's what we're hoping for. But until I hear back from Sheltair as far as how far they've gotten with the intrusion issue and everything else, I can't give you a definitive number on that yet.
So, Mr. Chairman, if I may follow?
Absolutely.
So I'm a bit confused, or maybe I don't understand. This has been going on for a very long time about that hangar, like
Yes, it has.
years, right?
Yes, it has.
Decades, maybe even?
Oh, I'd say about 7 to 8 years, yeah.
Okay, well, that's a long time.
It is.
Number two, have we always just been talking about a lease arrangement?
No, not at all. In fact, let me go back a step. We put a lot of effort into the current hangar to upgrade it just recently to make it more, not only more presentable, but more operational. But no, there were several different scenarios, including buying property, building a new hangar, using airport property, building a new hangar. It all fell through for one reason or another. This is really the last ditch effort we have to get this hangar built at this point in time, and we've exhausted every opportunity. But I do agree with you, this has taken a long time. You know, the sheriff is aware of it, his staff is aware of it. You know, we're doing everything we can at this point to expedite this project.
Yeah, but I hear you, this is where I'm having a disconnect, Joe.
Sure.
I hear you talking about how long we've been working on this project. But then over here, I hear you talking about now you're working on negotiating a lease.
Sure.
Well, that,
So-
Commissioner, if I can, that changed. So for instance, when they were going to rebuild at the current site, okay, now all of a sudden Coast Guard comes in play and you have to have blast walls based upon aircraft. So new requirements come in place. So we could go back to each version of what was proposed and explain why that didn't, work. But so that, for instance, that was the latest one. And then it became to where you couldn't build on that site. And so this latest one was working with Sheltair and that we would lease the facility. They're going to build it, and
Right,
then we're going to
they're
lease
gonna
it
build
back
this
from
back.
them.
Yep,
And it became a cost-effective solution, but that was the most immediate way of getting the project done.
Yeah.
And they weren't willing to sell us the land. They were willing to do this.
Yes.
And so the sheriff's staff's been part of that, and that's what they settled on.
So, but aren't we also in the process of getting a new helicopter out there?
They are rebuilding a helicopter. We just approved that I think a month or two ago of that money.
Yeah.
That's a replacement, so it doesn't add to his existing.
No, but it's a
fleet.
new piece of big equipment.
Correct.
And this hangar, I'm assuming, is going to accommodate that as well?
It will,
Yes.
but he has a current hangar that it will go in until that time that one is built.
And like I said, Commissioner, we did shore up the current hangar. It is a much better hangar than it was a couple of months ago. So, it is unfortunate. I agree with you 100%, but we're doing everything we can to move this forward.
And Commissioner, as the administrator said, they are selling their oldest aircraft to accommodate the new one coming in. So the surplus of that sale will be coming back into the general fund. We had figured that into the purchase price of the new helicopter. So
Yeah, I just want to make sure we're not putting good money after bad. I mean,
No, we're not. We're moving forward with constructing a hangar, okay? And I think that's the issue. And we can go back and, you know, I can tell you where the problems arise and that it's no longer here. So, but they, you know, we should have, could have done this a long time ago, but it didn't occur. And now we're focused, we all agree, we're building it, but then now they got to work through the construction issues associated with this project. This project doesn't go back 7 or 8 years. All the other versions do. This project, you know, has been this last year. Now they're working through environmental and even the limb wall line that I never knew what it was, you know, come into play. It goes through the airport. So in addition to sea level rise, now you have a limb wall, which is like the wave action. And so there's all kinds of different things that they've had to work through. But
Just a kind of budget question on it. So this is in our DAS budget.
From a leasing perspective, yes.
From the leasing perspective, but it's under the sheriff, I mean, how did the sheriff is,
Well, by constitutional requirements, we have to furnish the sites for the sheriff and all constitutional officers to occupy. So it's in our budget, even though he's using it. And it's like that, Commissioner, throughout.
for all our
Yeah, oh, yeah,
constitutionals?
yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just getting a little foggy on
No,
that
that's
part of it. Okay.
Yes, sir. All right, so still under the first bullet on the first page, these are the reasons that the DAS budget is increasing. So we've covered the first one, the hangar. And by the way, if we see the time frame changing, we will include less months of lease payment, but that'll be a sort of game time decision when we look at their budget. The second reason is landscape maintenance. You heard it a moment ago in the Parks and Conservation Resources budget. We're shifting the landscaping from parks over to DAS. So Parks Department budget went down, DAS budget is going up by a like amount. That's number two. Number three is expenses related to the South County Service Center. It's about $280,000. Now that it's coming online, there are some additional costs there. The next reason, of course, is personnel costs that we built in the 3% for this department, $335,000. And then the fifth reason, and all these that I'm covering so far are in the general fund. I'll cover the non-general fund in a minute. The last one in the general fund is an increase to utility costs out at the jail, and it's primarily associated with natural gas and just the pricing and the amount of natural gas being used out there. So those are the reasons in the general fund. Now I'll jump to the sort of second sub-bullet under the first bullet on page 1. These are non-general fund increases. First off is fuel. I'm rounding there to $800,000, but even though the number of gallons is actually going down, the cost, as we all know, is going up. So we have put an additional $800,000 in the DAS budget. It's in non-general fund because it gets cost accounted out to each of the departments. It's in the fleet management budget there. The second reason is fleet replacement costs. They're going up $3.8 million. That is just the natural replacement of vehicles across the county. And you did hear Charlie say earlier that we have received notice from the Ford rep that vehicles are going to be late. So we are going to be adjusting and carrying forward the funds so that we can buy them in future years when those vehicles come in.
so now I'm curious about the replacement vehicles. What kind of replacement vehicles are we getting? Are any of them electric, for example?
Commissioner, I'm glad you asked that
And
question.
yeah, and my last question is, because if they are in any manner, shape, or form, that surely is going to reduce your cost on the fuel.
Yes, ma'am. And Joe can answer it better.
Sure, absolutely. At the end of our BIS, we actually have a presentation regarding EVs and what we're doing, what we're actually doing. As everyone's aware, the economy of scale right now does not exist. We're buying everything we can. In fact, we're going to have 2 electric vans we just recently purchased out back so everybody can see them at the end of our BIS. But we're also, on top of that, we're deferring a lot of purchases, as many as possible, because if you buy a internal combustion engine pickup truck, we're going to have that for 10 years. We don't want an internal combustion pickup truck for 10 years. We want electric vehicles. The problem is, like I said a little earlier, is that the economy of scale just is not there. Ford is the only company right now making an electric pickup truck, but they're not making them. They're making just little batches of them. We're hoping in 2 years, maybe a little longer, that other manufacturers like, Ram and GM and others will come forward and start making these vehicles because the market is there. It's just a matter of retooling and getting everything up to speed. So we're well aware of the actual issues that, from a market perspective. And in order to take advantage of that, we're deferring a lot of purchases. And what that means internally is that we're going to be shifting some vehicles around internally where they're needed. So because there's going to be departments that are going to need vehicles now. So underutilized vehicles are going to be shifting those around so we balance the actual fleet better going forward.
All the manufacturers are going. Mercedes has an electric vehicle now.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, no, of course. One of the key things, too, the vehicles have to be designed for a fleet application. I mean, you can go out and buy Nissan Leafs, but they'll fall apart. A fleet application vehicle is specifically designed to be worn out. The touch points, the seats, everything in that vehicle, the cooling system, it's a different vehicle. It's not what you walk when you buy on a lot. It's not the same application.
But just don't take your foot off the
Oh, no,
pedal
Commissioner.
because.
I'm with you.
All you have to do is drive on the highway and see how many electric vehicles are on the highway, which brings me to one other question. I surely hope that we've got our foot on the gas in terms of getting that federal money for the infrastructure that's needed to support them.
And we had
Right,
a-
Chris?
And
Yes,
he's,
ma'am.
so Joe's got a presentation for you on this,
Yeah.
okay? And in particular, I think one thing to keep in mind, though, is, and this kind of surprised me, we don't have that many sedans.
Yeah.
It's all of our, most of our stuff is heavy-duty trucks, and so it's a little bit different than what you
No.
see out on the road. And so, but
And that's
they
what
look-
Joe meant about the Nissan Leaf was for fleet.
Yeah.
Not that it's not a fine car for
Right.
daily use.
Yeah.
I'm protecting you, Joe, from,
I'm not asking you to buy Teslas for everything.
That wouldn't be a bad idea.
although you
Commissioner,
could
quite
buy
frankly.
Teslas
Yeah.
for everyone
Yeah.
in Lellman in just a year.
But yeah, like Barry mentioned, the bulk of our fleet are heavy-duty vehicles, and our light-duty fleet, pickup trucks, sedans, and vans, constitute about 700 vehicles, and that is only 34 sedans. That's it. That's all we have in our fleet, 34 sedans. So the bulk of our fleet, really, from a light-duty perspective, are pickup trucks. I mean, you see county pickup trucks all over the place. That's the bulk of our light-duty fleet, and that's what we're going to really hit on as soon as people start producing these things. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Commissioner Flowers?
Thank you. I know we're moving to electric, but we still will have some vehicles that are utilizing gasoline, diesel, what have you. Have we thought about purchasing, looking at purchasing power with other entities? For example, at our PSTA meeting, we were talking about that for the vehicles that we still have that utilize gasoline, looking at that purchasing power so that maybe purchasing in such a large quantity would help us with the buy down of costs. I know through the state, they usually have like the state purchasing contract and stuff like that. But have we thought about maybe even that, just for those of us that are here, within our own community, so that maybe we can see some cost savings there? I don't know if that's going to work with the prices now because of everything that's going on globally as it relates to supply and demand in order to even get the gas, petroleum here on our shores. But just a thought, because that's what we were thinking about to try to help us save some dollars until the order that we put in for our electric buses on the PSTA side come in.
Now,
Commissioner,
That's okay. Are you talking about the purchase of vehicles? Internal
Purchase of
combustion
vehicles
vehicles?
and at the actual gas.
Yeah. The
Well,
actual
diesel.
gas, we have a huge cooperative contract
Okay.
that Pinellas County is responsible for, and that in itself saves us a ton of money every year. The transportation fees are fixed, and we buy at actual rack pricing.
Okay.
which gives us a really, really good discount on fuel. You can't go to a pump and get fuel for what we pay for it.
Oh,
and
no, I know that.
Charge out, not even close. As far as vehicles go, we buy off of large cooperative contracts. For instance, a internal combustion F-150 Ford pickup truck, it's about $18,000 less than you would pay on the lot for the same vehicle. It's huge savings. So we've always bought vehicles in that manner. To bid them out ourselves, we just wouldn't have the economy of scale. So we go to these large cooperative contracts and purchase vehicles off these large cooperative contracts, and it saves the taxpayers a lot of money. But with that being said, we want to not buy those trucks at all. We really want to get the electric vehicles in place, but we just got to wait till there's more economy of scale out there.
And they actually went over and drove an F-150 on the track at Daytona.
impressive.
And
Very impressive. Oh, incredible. Quick, and it's an amazing vehicle. It really is. I mean, I got to be honest, I was very impressed by it, but they got to make them. And let's just hope that happens here pretty soon.
Well, listen, my son has an F-150, and I need a step stool to step on. I'm serious, in order to get on the side rail to get myself up in the truck, and he's a little bit shorter than me, so it's yeah, he can slam, honey, take a boop, boop, boop.
So there's no money in the DAS budget for step stools, but, yeah. All right.
Well, I'm gonna bring my own.
So, still in the middle of page 1 there, we've covered fuel, we've covered fleet replacement costs. The 8th reason that the budget is going up is property insurance increases. Most of that due to utilities. Remember, we switched providers with utilities, and we talked about it a couple of commission meetings ago. So that is, of course, costed out. So it's in the non-general fund part of DAS and spread to the right departments. And then the last one, still in that grouping of bullets, is insurance increases, again, cost accounted out, in this case, to the sheriff's office. When the sheriff switched over to jail, a private provider for health services at the jail, that increased our insurance costs as well. So that's the overview of what's happening in the DAS budget, both general fund and non-general fund. I can go into greater detail in the budgets, the bullets that are right below there. In some cases, I'm going to hit them. In other cases, I'm going to jump ahead. So you can see the actual increases that we have put in, assumed going forward for both unleaded and diesel. As one of our directors yesterday said, the crystal ball is a little cloudy, but we do have what we think is the best number in for fuel costs going forward. The third bullet there on the page is a mistake. It's got some old numbers in there. So I've already said 3.8 is the increase for fleet replacement. So if you would, that 5.9 and then the 4.9 and the 10.8, those are old numbers, and we didn't catch them before we printed this out, but the 3.8 is the right number. The next bullet, of course, is the same as that property insurance increase that we talked about earlier. And then a couple of other bullets at the bottom of page 1. Just a note, the total value of outstanding losses for workers' comp and general liability is increasing. We've seen insurance rates go up across the board. Again, cost accounted out to their proper cost centers throughout the county. The next bullet is something that DAS has done where they've repurposed a vacant position into a manager of budget and analytics to build the financial wherewithal in the department as part of this conversion that we're doing across the county of you've heard it, full service, non-full service in the budget office. Well, DAS was one of the first ones we talked to, and they've moved forward, and they have their new manager of that going forward. Incidentally, it was one of those 6 that we talked about that has left OMB and gone to a department yesterday when we were talking. So Joe properly stole one of my folks, and yeah. So it's good for all of us, though. It really is when that kind of thing happens. So, and then the last bullet on the page is no proposed changes to user fees. You can see their entire, which is really only just 2 lines on page 34. Their fee schedule is way back there. There are no decision packages, and we can talk about the budget summary at the top of page 2. We've really already talked about it. I don't need to go into too much detail on it because I've hit the detail on the front page. But you can see general fund increasing, non-general fund increasing. You see the revenues there right in the middle of the page. And then I'm going to take your attention to the last sentence of the paragraph in the middle that starts with "in the general fund, which funds the purchasing," et cetera, et cetera. The last sentence of that is capital outlay has decreased $198,000. And that's, as we looked at it, there was a planned purchase of a scissor lift, to raise up and down. We realized it was more cost effective to actually rent that. And so we've lowered the line item there. And it's just one of those things that kind of gets baked into the budget and you never see. So a good savings and good effort on DAS's part to get there. And then the last couple of paragraphs there on page 2, we talk about the fleet management budget. Again, 3.8 is the increase for replacements. And the risk budget, you can see what's going on there. I'm going to go to page 3 at the top.
Before you jump on there, just a quick question. The chiller plant revenue decrease, what is that attributable to?
Well, there was we had to relook at the way we were charging out. We have one customer essentially for the chiller plant. That's the Oaks right down the street. And that's what the decrease is. We had to relook at the accounting on that. The accounting was not correct, so we fixed that going forward. They were being overcharged, essentially, Commissioner.
And we haven't had other potential hookups?
No.
Okay.
No, sir.
All right. Why not? It's a good question. I didn't know if that was something.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
Commissioner Seal asked, why not?
Why haven't we had other
Well,
hookups?
that's Train is responsible for marketing that. We put the infrastructure in years ago when the plant was built, east, north, south, and east, west. There were actually pipes in the ground. But if you want to be a customer, you got to pay for the link up to the pipes. We had discussions with the church right next door to our utilities facility about doing that, and that fell through. We discussed that about a year ago because they went back and forth. It would cost them like $400,000 or $500,000 to hook up. But honestly, when that was first put in place, and it was before my time, but there was discussions with the city hooking up, that fell through, with the Church of Scientology hooking up, that fell through. The only other option really was, well, even Morton Plant Hospital, and they actually built their own central energy plant. So a lot of the initial, I think, drive behind that plant kind of faded away over time, like a better way to word it. That's not to say that if there's a potential customer out there, we certainly wouldn't try to push that going forward. There just hasn't really been anything, Commissioner, to be honest with you.
Certainly, and as construction happens, that might change too.
Yeah, potentially.
Commissioner Long.
I'd be curious when you say Train's responsible for the marketing of it, what kind of marketing are they doing? How do you even know?
Yeah, they're not doing much right now, Commissioner. They went out about a year ago trying to drum up some interest, and there was really not much, to be honest with you, other than I don't know, the actual sect, but the church right next door to utilities. But right now, yeah, there's not much marketing going on, to be totally honest with you.
Kind of a pity, really, when you think about how much money we invested in putting it in place, right?
Still a good facility to have for us, but yeah.
It has saved quite a bit, however, on replacement costs. I mean, every building downtown had their own, system, so we eliminated all that, all the maintenance. So there is a benefit.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no question. However, we wanted to push that out initially when it was first built to others, and that's really what circumstances, yeah.
I think that was the first thing we voted on when you and I first came on. I talked about that chiller plant more in that first year than anything else. All right, I'm sorry, carry on.
No, please. I only have one last thing to let you know, and that's in the middle of page 3. You can see some of the steps of personnel moves that we've already talked about. Overall, it's down 1 FTE. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Joe and let him talk about accomplishments and performance.
Thanks, Chris. We're in process of replacing the aging GPS system, global positioning sensor. At Fleet Management, Don Moore and his staff have done a great job implementing the new system. The new GPS will provide many operational performance metrics, including but not limited to driving dynamics, how long it takes to get to a location, that kind of thing, or the shortcuts, all about saving fuel. Engine fuel usage, idling time, vehicle utilization, and vehicle performance. The new GPS will be a real benefit to total county operations, and right now we're about 70% complete. So we started that in this fiscal year, last fiscal year, we're about 70% complete on the installation. We developed a 10-year replacement plan to replace the county light-duty fleet with alternative fuel vehicles. The light-duty fleet consists of pickup trucks, sedans, and vans, like I mentioned earlier. Don Moore is supposed to be here to present a presentation. If not, I'll do it, but right after the BIS. And we really want to explain to you what we are doing, not what we're not doing going forward, because I think there's a lot of misconception out there. We really are working towards a plan going forward, and we'll talk about that a little more in just a few minutes. The purchasing division, led by Mary Celeste, did a really great job developing a SharePoint intake site. One of the issues we currently have is in order to, the intake site currently in Oracle Financials is creating a pre-encumbrance. That's not the best way to create an intake site. And by an intake site, I mean, what do you need to put a competitive document on the street? You know, you need grant information, you need requirements and all of that. So in order to prevent the ping pong methodology that has happened for years, Mary and her staff created a SharePoint intake site that has all the forms needed, all the questions that need to be asked, so that when her staff gets the requirements from a department, it's ready to be put on the street for bid. Just that simple. And that saves a lot of time in the purchasing cycle time. So they did a really good job on that in this past year, developing that. We onboarded Amazon centralized business accounts, and everybody knows that Amazon is a great company to deal with. I mean, it's really helped a lot throughout the organization. Each department had their own account. We eliminated all of that. There's a lot more accountability now. They sell everything at a really good price, and they even have a great SBE program where they utilize SBE firms to both supply and deliver goods and services. So that's helped the county a lot with basic goods and services going forward. We developed a detailed inventory of county-owned properties. Believe it or not, it really did not exist. So over the last year, Diana and her staff have put together a really great plan going forward. We began the process of vetting all properties for internal, external need, and disposing or repurposing properties no longer needed by the county for operational needs. Long-term, we think we know this accomplishment will provide the ability to place property back on tax rolls, reduce operating costs, and provide affordable housing opportunities. A lot of our properties are, you know, not prime properties, but the fact is we're taking care of them now, and if they could be repurposed, that's always a better way to go. So we're doing what we can to move those properties out. And I believe it was about a month ago or so, I think you've seen the first list come through about 15 properties. So I wanted to talk a little bit about our work plan for the next year as well. We completed the county space study and analysis with current building condition assessment. Now, the study's not complete at this point in time, but what we did get from that are the operational adjacencies and how much square footage will be needed for potential new campus. We're in the process of engaging CBRE to complete the actual study itself, and that's off a state of Florida contract, and they'll be able to help us put a plan together and to assist with the values of current buildings downtown. So I wanted to update you on that as well. Working in conjunction with Public Works, our building project manual. We're building a project manual based on a portfolio approach. Our building and design division has made significant strides to improve services. I think you can see that in the room we're sitting in. However, we want consistency organizationally, and Public Works and Utilities have gotten the portfolio approach down pat, so we're kind of borrowing from them going forward. Sorry, excuse me. And so far, it's worked really well. Let me drink of water, apologize. Also mentioned about electric vehicle infrastructure. We have funds from ARPA to hire a partner to assist us developing a plan and also to build some base infrastructure going forward. We anticipate working with that partner really soon, and we expect to have some EV infrastructure before the end of next year, fiscal year, in place. Obviously, we know some of the campuses that need it right now, and for instance, this campus itself, we're going to have a mini kind of, spit it out, Joe, infrastructure developed. So when it comes right down to it, there are going to be some campuses throughout county government that are going to have some infrastructure put in place for EVs. We're anticipating, the actual purchase of EVs, and we're getting everything in line for that going forward. Excuse me.
Commissioner Long has a question.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I can't help myself.
that's okay.
And maybe
Go
you
ahead.
said it, and maybe I just got distracted. When you talk about the campuses, the individual campuses of the county, are you working on infrastructure for the existing campuses? Or I thought we were doing a
Well,
facility study that was going to more appropriately determine what we focus on.
Well, they're doing it, they're doing both. They're looking long-term. So for instance, down here, we're probably not going to put in the big rapid chargers that are very expensive at a campus like this, but we can put in small chargers that are very inexpensive because we know it'll be 5 years, before any change would occur. And so they're going to make some decisions like that with our various campuses.
And as for instance, the Criminal Justice Center is a prime example. That facility is going to be there for many years to come, and we will have a full-fledged plan for that campus. And I'm sorry. Go ahead, Rita.
Right, but I'm paying attention to what you're saying. My concern, Joe and Barry, is that, how long have you been here now, Barry? It seems like forever.
I'm still in my honeymoon period.
No, we're way beyond that.
Yeah, it's been 4 years here in October.
Okay, so before Barry, I can remember talking, and before Mark Woodard, with Bob LaSala, I'm sure Commissioner Seal, you'll remember all of this, talking about the dire straits of our building that we have our commission chamber in, and how the windows had to be replaced, and the facet on the outside of the building was falling off, and everybody that works up there on the 5th floor, I don't know how it is up where you are, Barry,
Same as.
the air conditioning and heating are just all screwed up. You're either freezing or you're roasting. There's kind of never an in-between. So my question is, when you talk about the things that we're now thinking, I guess, about pouring money into, well, what happened to all of those dire things that needed to be done way back when Bob LaSala was the county administrator?
Commissioner, that's a good question. I can't elaborate on that. That was before my time in this position. However, we are looking at things that are majorly wrong and replacing accordingly. We don't want to put a lot of money at this point in time in certain facilities because of the potential lifespan of the facility. But with that being said, the mechanical systems in buildings, and Diana may be able to elaborate on this a little bit, but the mechanical systems in buildings, if they're not working correctly, we're going to fix them. For many years, and I'm not trying to sound critical, it's just fact, facilities had a reactionary methodology of operating. We're trying to get past that. We're trying to build in planning. We're trying to do things the right way. It just takes a while to turn that battleship around, but we are trying to get there.
But we're addressing life safety, and we're making cost-effective investments, not long-term investments, as we plan for what the future looks like. And we're going to bring that back to you. We're moving as quickly as we can. I mean, we've got a national reputable firm on board, but when we come in and we ask you to support a plan, you're going to want to know, okay, well, what, and I think you already asked that at last, what would it cost to fix up our current building? Okay, well, I need to be able to give you the cost effectiveness of these decisions. I also need to have land values of the current, so we can take all that into account. Well, that's a lot of work, and so we're working towards that, understanding what our space plan, is, because, thankfully, we didn't do the space plan before COVID, because now we need, tens of thousands of space less, because we've kind of moved to a hybrid model, and so we've taken all that into account, and we're working on bringing you a plan, and it'll be later this year. but they're actively engaged to be able to make those. But like I said, we don't want to go 5 years. You would be climbing, down my back if we didn't put any EV infrastructure in where we currently piece. I mean, that's a need. And so we'll put those in, but we'll put the cheaper version in, not the long-term, infrastructure. And so we'll try to make some, cost-effective decisions like that.
Good luck with that when you start talking about the security issues, which we've talked about almost since I've been here.
But that'll be built into our plan on future buildings.
Oh, yeah, but I'm talking about, never mind.
Commissioner Seal.
The only comment I'm going to make is maybe the sky is not falling down and maybe the buildings aren't falling down. They're still using them.
Well, there's a little truth in all of it, but the idea was to get ahead of it, and I think the need is still there, but the realities of the budget exist as well, and pure availability of alternatives.
Again, we'll come back to you, and we'll have all this, but we'll have metrics and cost effectiveness on the various decisions in a complete package later this year.
We're also working on a management plan for county-owned properties. It's been a long time since the plan for managing county-owned properties has been updated. The plan essentially provides a framework for how the county maintains and services customers located at county-owned buildings and properties. The use of SLAs, or service level agreements, are key, and a new approach to ensure all customers are receiving services that are expected and agreed upon. So that's internal customers, obviously, our constitutionals, et cetera. The real estate policy has not been updated for many years. It was put in place about 14 years ago, and it needs to be refreshed with peer and legal review. We hope to provide a current real estate policy, current with the times, providing new approaches for obtaining and selling properties, and of course, to finish the GPS initiative in fiscal year 23 as well. I just wanted to go through and highlight a couple of our performance metrics. As an internal service department, our overall customer satisfaction is very important. We reached 88% department-wide, which for an internal service department, we're real proud of. We think that's a really good number. We want to strive to get it higher, obviously. Average miles per gallon of fuel use, that's going to be very important, especially as we shift over to an EV-type application. The percent decrease in carbon dioxide, very important, because once again, as we go to an EV-type setup, that number should come down pretty drastic. Percent change in employee injuries from year to year, that's important because we decided to go with OSHA compliance, even though we're government and not absolutely have to go that way. We decided to go that way from a safety perspective for our employees, and that in itself has really bared fruit. It's dropped down. A lot of injuries have been reduced because of that program. But those are some of the highlights of our performance measures as well at DAS I want to point out.
All right, so Commissioners, Joe does have a packet that just kind of updates the implementation of EV. We can certainly send that to you, or we can go through it here today. It's really at your pleasure.
Commissioners, thoughts? You want to see it? Yeah,
Okay.
all right. Sure.
There it is. Okay, for discussion today.
Hold on, Joe. Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Commissioner Long, we're going to take a 5-minute quick break.
Okay.
Afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Don Moore. I'm the Division Manager for Fleet Services in the Department of Administrative Services under Joe Lauro. Thanks for your time today. We're going to talk briefly specifically about electric vehicles and the plan moving forward. The plan we're going to talk about, this is the Fleet Light Vehicle Plan guiding our electrification efforts and action needed for implementation. This will show our timeline for goal attainment. Thank you. Fiscal 22 Equipment Purchase Plan EV Procurement. Application is key to meet our goals for the plan. Each year, the equipment purchase plan identifies vehicles eligible for replacement due to age, utilization, and condition. This plan provides replacement of internal combustion engines vehicles with electric vehicles as they become commercially available at scale. As I mentioned, application is the primary driver of our electrification efforts. ICE replacement with an EV can only occur upon commercial availability at scale of an EV suitable for the application. Our current practice is to specify an EV for any new vehicle replacement if a suitable electric vehicle is available. We have recently received 2 cargo vans, which we drove here today. If anybody is interested, they are out in the parking lot. And they made it here and they did not catch on fire. The internet can scare a lot of people away. These vehicles are safe, reliable, and as evidence, we drove them here without any concerns. We'd love to have you take a look. Sure. We've got 29 sedans total in our light-duty fleet. That makes up 4.4% of the 661 light-duty vehicles. We are replacing those as they come due at the end of their life cycles. We have got 3 that have been ordered in fiscal 22. Hybrid trucks. Although the trucks are not part of our light-duty electrification plan, we do seek out technology that fleet can leverage that takes advantage of lithium-ion technology. Specifically, these trucks are bucket trucks. And the way this works is the diesel engine is still in place, of course, in the vehicle, but the operator, as he actuates the boom, that's all through the hybrid option. We expect to receive those hopefully before the end of this fiscal year. Infrastructure planning and installation. County administration was instrumental in assisting fleet management in obtaining $500,000 in ARPA funding for planning and designing both public-facing and internal charging infrastructure. Fleet management is pursuing utility and engineering partnerships needed for county staff to develop plan details that support long-term infrastructure goals. Slide, please. Oh, you're already there. Goals: electrify the 663 unit light vehicle fleet by 2032 with a stretch goal of fiscal year 2030. Install appropriate charging infrastructure in advance of EV delivery. Required actions right now: defer light vehicle purchases pending EV equivalent availability. The current equipment purchase plan showed 58 light-duty vehicles that met replacement criteria that are now being deferred until EV suitability is found in the marketplace. We need to reallocate light vehicles strategically, optimize our fleet size, and continue with ICE vehicle replacement with electric vehicles. Moving forward, develop long-term infrastructure design plan, fund, and install public-facing and internal EV charging infrastructure. This is the schedule for the light vehicle goal attainment in one simple graph. The brown line shows the percentage and approximate unit decrease in the ICE complement in our fleet through fiscal 29, with fiscal 30 and 32 as years to address any schedule slippage. The vertical bars show the percentage and approximate unit increase in the light vehicle EV complement through the same time period. The yellow portion of the bar graph reflects the portion of cumulative EV transition that are sedans. So sedans make up 4% of our total light-duty vehicle complement. one comment I'd like to make briefly on the picture that's there now, and that this was off the internet, but this does give us an idea of the depot level charging that we're going to design and build out. So typically, with your car, you've got one plug-in. With our current EVs we have, they have one solitary plug-in. With 663 vehicles, we're going to be designing and building depot-level infrastructure, which is somewhat represented in that picture. Any questions, please?
Commissioner Long.
So I'm sure that when you're talking about a fleet, you're talking about the length of time it takes to charge them up when the day is done, correct?
Yes, ma'am. The level 1, 2, and 3 charging levels that are the current industry standard will be designed in accordance with the vehicle's utilization. So if it drives a lot of miles and is heavily loaded every day, we're going to look at charging levels of 2 and 3. If it's driven less than that, level 1 may suffice.
Because just for informational purposes, if it's one of those superchargers, I call them superchargers, I don't know what level that is in your
yes, ma'am.
language. But it takes about 20 minutes to just totally fill it up.
Right. Part of our initial discussions that will be included in the design planning is to have strategic level 3 chargers throughout the county. The downside to level 3, it is quick, but it diminishes the life cycle of the battery. If you do it repeatedly every single day, I don't know what level yours is, Commissioner Gerard, but it is a good short-term fix. On a day-to-day basis, we want to look at level 2 and level 1 to not shorten that battery life. We want it to meet the full life cycle of the vehicle.
Well, I hear what you're saying, and my response to that is, I'm pretty sure as time goes by, they'll figure out how to keep that from happening, don't you think?
I hope so. And you're pointing out a critical piece to how we drive our vehicles in the county. To refuel them now takes 10, 15 minutes. Electric vehicles is very different. If the level 3 charging does not diminish that life battery, we would need to take a hard look at that.
And as part of that infrastructure plan, to remember, they also have a plan for dealing with emergencies where we don't have power. We have to have places that back up generators and things like that to deal with hurricanes.
Well, and to that point, the new buses that PSTA has been ordering serve as a generator when the power is out, which I think is pretty neat.
There are other benefits to electric vehicles. The technology obviously is different for such a large bus. The vehicles that we're hoping hit the marketplace soon can possibly charge traffic intersections in the event we suffer county-wide outages. So it's exciting to see what's coming, and you're right,
It
the
is,
technology.
it's so interesting to me.
It is, and the technology will change, to your point.
Yeah, like every 5 to 6 months or some. And by the way, just so you know, there's a new software update on my car every 45 to 60 days. So if that gives you any indication of how things are changing, because then you got to go in there and reorient yourself, you know, of what does that mean? Good news is they have a little cheat sheet.
Well, what you're going through is what we expect all county drivers to have to go through at some point soon.
Yeah. It's very, it's a really, I find it a very good exercise in just keeping up with the latest and the greatest. Okay, I'll shut up now.
Commissioner Peters.
Yeah, so like police departments take cars home. Do any of our county or sheriff's deputies take their cars home?
The sheriff's not part of the BCC.
Okay.
So speaking for the BCC, there is no take-home
There's
vehicle
no
policy.
take-home. Okay.
The only take-home vehicles are people that are on call, and they rotate that. And so, like out of utilities, so our on-call person takes the car home, so that way it's a utility truck and they can
So if they're
respond
taking
immediately.
that car home and it's an electric car, do we have to provide a 220 in their home?
Great question. I don't know.
220. You
Hold
really
on,
don't
I
need
can
220.
answer that, Commissioner. Because the cars that are electric, they come with a converter, And so you just plug it right into your 110.
Yeah.
Or they'd have to charge before they go home or whatever. I'm not sure of that question. We have very, very, very few. It's only a couple of people, and it's for the utility truck, and that way they can do direct response.
Okay, thanks.
Which leads me to another point, if you don't mind.
Sure, why
I
not?
can't help myself. The mayor of Largo sits on the Regional Planning Council with me, and he was all excited. This was about a year ago, I think, because they are converting their deputies to all-electric vehicles for the police cars, which I thought was fascinating. And by the way, if there's a high-speed chase going on, you better believe all day long you're gonna
Yeah, the new electric vehicles.
outrun anybody.
Yeah,
in
that are
those
hitting the
things.
market are not lacking in performance at this point. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I know.
I would assume as we're looking into an expansion of fleet, and if you're talking about something like what we see in the visual, that we would explore a solar canopy type thing to power that as our infrastructure cost as far as an examination.
Absolutely. The question came up of emergency response with EVs. Those solar power sources could help offset that. The response to the county, we could respond right away with the solar. And in the larger vehicles, it's not there yet. And in generators, so we've got 200 plus generators across the county, and we are looking at solar as a way of powering those generators.
Yeah, it wouldn't make, just on the surfaces, to go buy a bunch of electric cars and then charge them with traditional sources. Further questions? Commissioner Gerard.
In fiscal '22, I believe the total count is 36, and that does include 26 utility carts.
Would you explain the significance of the utility cards?
Yeah, and it's not a golf cart, it's a utility cart. But they put out as much CO2 as a small SUV. So although it doesn't get the play, I know, we didn't think so either. Somebody told me to look it up, who happened to be my boss, and we were shocked to find out that those are just very inefficient internal combustion engines. So by replacing them with lithium-ion technology, which Paul Kazi and his leadership team have fully embraced, we're seeing an immediate carbon footprint reduction once they arrive. And I believe there's 26 that we hope to get here before the end of this fiscal year.
And that department, I mean, that just seems like a easy, low-hanging fruit to grab for conversion, you know?
Yep.
All right, further questions? Thank you, Barry. Thank you, Mr. Rose, for your staff and everyone. Good 3 days of work. Before we adjourn, I want to congratulate Commissioner Peters and Commissioner Flowers, who will continue their service on the commission. Congratulations. And all those that met qualifying deadline at noon today, we wish everyone the best of luck as they pursue the campaigns. And with that, we will be adjourned, and we will see you Tuesday.